Michigan sports. Red Wings, Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Michigan, Michigan State, and the list goes on. And you love beer. Love beer. Who doesn't? What if we mixed the two together? This is State of My Sports. We'll talk everything Michigan sports, like only we do, and then we'll down our fair share of beer from a local brewery, grading the beer throughout the episode. So pop a cold one on your end, and we'll get busy on ours. This is the State of My Sports.
And this is episode 168, August 9th, 2002, live, 2022, not 2002.
Definitely
live
22.
From DeHop's Brewing Company and Cafe. During our DeHop's Brewing Company and Cafe beer flight segment, we are going to discuss some rule changes. Is that what you're going to touch on?
Yes, sir.
We're going to talk about some players that are out there, maybe, right? Maybe. And then the Big Ten media deal. That's what I got for us tonight. Then the core of the episode, we're going to have some fun talking the Detroit Tigers. Their trade deadline has passed. I think there was a lot out there to talk about. We also got Miggy rumors. We got some unbelievable stats of how bad this past week went. I don't know. We got to talk Tigers. And then we're going to talk some Lions. We got the Hard Knocks coming on tonight. I'm going to watch it. I don't know if one of you guys are going to join me or both of you, but we're going to do that once we wrap up here. But we're going to talk about today. They had family weekend at Ford Field, all that good stuff. Some fun stuff going on. I don't know. Got Jamal Williams 2.0. Nice another quote there. So I forget what else it was. But also, Top 25 Coaches Poll came out. College football is in the air. We are so freaking
very close. 25 days.
Oh my gosh. Is that? Oh my gosh. I cannot wait for college football.
I can taste it.
Oh yeah. Can't wait for that. So we're going to dig into that a little bit. And we're not going to have a betting hero segment just because I'm assuming it's going to go longer. So.
It's going to go pretty long.
We're going to dive into Betting Hero when we get our picks rolling. So.
People don't understand how heavy this paper is.
Yeah.
It's very heavy.
Very heavy, very thick. Not like she said to me. If you're, but of course we're going to drink Michigan craft beer here from DeHop's Brewing Company and Cafe. What are we drinking? I can't remember.
Walker Ave.
Walker Ave. So we'll introduce that here shortly. But if you're joining us live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and there's one more. YouTube. Be part of the conversation. We want people to be part of the conversation. We want to read your comments. We want to tell you how awful your opinion is. We want you to tell us how awful our opinions are. That's the fun part about sports. Nobody Nobody agrees with each other.
Doesn't
right?
Sam sound so inviting?
Yeah.
We love this guy.
No, tell us that we're really good at this as well. That would make me feel pretty good. But no, so please be part of the conversation. Share us, do all that good stuff that helps us grow our audience, which is very, very helpful. Before we jump in, I did want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors that help keep this thing rolling and free for our listeners. DeHop's Brewing Company and Cafe is the official brewery of State of My Sports. Mac Web Design helped us get our website up and running. And Betting Hero helps us, and you get the best promos available in the sports betting world. I am Sam Wolfhart. With me today, we got Micah Smith.
What's up? And
John Dornboss. Ryan on vacation once again. Good for him. Love when he gets time off. It's very important. So,
is it a vacation or a workcation?
Oh, it's once a month, so call it what it is.
Yeah, definitely a workcation this week. He's in Denmark, actually. So,
ooh.
Yeah.
Never been.
And then he's going to be in Traverse City when he gets back. So he's going to be gone for a couple weeks. But I appreciate you guys being here. It's good to know some people care.
Well, of course I care.
You guys are going to be like, yeah, I'm out next week. And I'm going to be sitting there by myself like, oh, boy.
Funny you say vacation.
Oh, boy. That'll be off-air conversation, I guess. But how was your guys' week? John, all right, last week you said you're playing some of the best golf. You had some tournaments this weekend, or a tournament this weekend, a 2-round tournament. You said, right?
2 day.
Should we start with your golf league?
Golf league's been going good.
Yeah,
I've been shooting in the 30s. Probably the last 8 or 9 rounds in a row now, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
In my short tenure of golf career. But yeah, things are clicking. So this weekend, I played in a 2-day best ball tournament with my buddy Tony. So you each play your own ball all weekend. You take the better score every hole.
Okay.
Day 1, putter was on fire. Everything was clicking. We shot 3 under, which had us tied for first in the first flight.
Whoa.
Which is usually not where we're at in this tournament. We're usually in flight 2.
Okay.
Right around 2-3 over. So things were working. Won a closest to the pin on Saturday on a par 3. Stuck one
nice.
3 or 4 feet away from the cup.
What do you win with something like that?
It was $150.
That probably pays for more than the tournament.
Yep.
Outside of the beer.
Yep.
Beer tab, I'm sure.
Well, all right. Don't tell the golf course, but my bag had some beers in it that I didn't know of, so I had to drink those.
Yeah,
while I
you
was
can't
out
let
there.
them. Yeah, for sure.
Luckily, you just told them.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, hopefully they're not listening.
Hopefully they are listening. I would love it if they are. Thank you.
Thank
you for listening.
Morrison Lake, this one's for you. Sunday was a different story.
Not good?
Not good. We teed off a little early in the morning. It was real hazy out, kind of cloudy, humid, and I decided to wear a red Hawaiian shirt for my Sunday red.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you that's different than a golf shirt when you try to swing a club. And
right.
I learned that the hard way on hole number 1, and it continued the rest of the round. We ended up shooting 1 under on Sunday.
Okay.
Tied for second, but they only paid out first.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's not bad, though.
No, we got a skin in there, so I walked away with $180. And
was it the color of the shirt or was it the style of the shirt?
It was the style.
The style.
The color was there.
Yeah.
Colors were there. Rocked the Lions hat too. The Honolulu theme.
Oh,
and,
very nice.
Yeah, I thought I had it going, and day 1 I definitely did. Day 2 was a whole different ball game. So tied for second, but it's better than we've ever done in that tournament.
Good for
So
you. That's not bad. That's
probably
fun.
be back next year.
Yeah,
so,
good stuff.
Nice.
Micah, I don't want to ask about your weekend, but I'm going to anyways. How was your weekend, Micah?
It was absolutely fantastic, and things are going really, really well out here. Now, we had a lot of fun. No one really cares on this show. But so we drove to Milwaukee Thursday night, and Friday morning woke up, kind of felt like football Christmas.
Keep going.
And so then we drove up to Green Bay that day, and we had a great family day. A lot of fun stuff for the kids to do, a lot of playground stuff, football stuff. It was so much better than last year. Last year it just rained all day, which really stunk. So this year was a completely different story. All the kids had a ton of fun, and the game was great. There was a laser show, fireworks show afterwards.
Oh, cool.
And the stadium was packed. It was pretty cool. So
nice.
Got
Did you
back.
get to meet anybody cool?
Didn't meet anyone this time. We sucked to just doing food and drinks with the kids, making sure the kids were just completely taken care of, and then just went to the stadium, just got in our seats, and just tried to keep the kids busy. You know, the kids kind of started getting a little rowdy hour and a half into it. But I saw Rodgers again.
Yeah. Was he dressed in normal clothes or was he a character from
You're right.
Was he Scooby-Doo this week or what? Shaggy?
No, so like
Shaggy
last time, Joe and Kim, who goes with us, they had kind of went ahead and went to the other side of the stadium and said, you know, we'll just meet up with you in just a few minutes. We're just tagging behind, you know. And so we could tell that a lot of the players were starting to, like, make their way to the parking lot. And, you know, I just asked, I don't know, a couple random people, hey, do you know who came in yet by chance? And they're like, no, everyone's windows are tinted, windshields tinted, can't see anyone, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, we'll just stand here for just a couple minutes, see if we see anyone. And there was, like, some wives and families, you know, pulling in and whatnot. And here, well, I know that Rodgers has, like, a black Tahoe, just Chevy Tahoe, just basic thing.
Yeah.
And so I see a Porsche roll, and I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like him. I'm like, that's definitely him. And so I tap Max's shoulder. I'm like, hey, buddy, that's Rodgers right there. And he started freaking out and just rolled in, you know, just game face on already, you know, just true professional. So
he actually was a true professional? He didn't dress up as a character?
Not this time.
Of a TV show? Because last time he showed up, it wasn't a true professional. So I'm glad that he was a true professional for this week. But we did get a comment from Carrie. She said Sloan's face paint game was strong.
Yeah,
so
it was.
Nice,
yeah, it was. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool. No, I'm glad you guys had good weekends. I honestly.
How was yours?
I couldn't tell you. I don't remember anything that I did.
That happens.
Honestly, like, no, it wasn't like one of those weekends. It was just.
You didn't find beers in your golf bag like I did?
Couldn't even find my golf bag if I tried. I really couldn't. I can't even think about. Oh no, I remember one thing I did. We went to Berlin races with my work, so they like rented out one of the decks around like one of the turns and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, it was fun. That was Saturday night. We went there and ate dinner and.
Did you watch all the races?
Watched all the races, and then we watched the fireworks, which was cool.
Cool.
Yeah, it was actually a really good night. So I'm sorry I couldn't remember.
The kids
Hopefully Jeff didn't hear that.
Kids like the late model stuff, like the really loud, fast stuff.
Yeah, Easton was a little disappointed. He thought the cars were going to look newer. He was not happy about that. And then he goes to me, you know, like, I really like watching the races with like Red Bull and
like
Mercedes
all the big
and stuff
sponsors.
like that. Yeah, like the Formula One. Because I've watched a couple Formula One races with him. So
local garage sponsors.
Like, wait, I thought this was gonna be like Red Bull. he was a little confused, but he was locked in. Like it was cool, and you could see that it was in his blood because Andrea's dad was like she grew up at the races and stuff, and he was always really connected there. So you could tell that it was cool for him. It was nice.
How did Jordan and Peyton take it?
Good. Yeah, I mean, Peyton was just doing her thing, like just quiet, like just watching, and I don't know. She was good. Had fun with all the other kids and stuff, and I can't keep track of Jordan anymore. Like I just, as long as he's not whining, I don't know what he's doing.
Then
so,
you're content.
Yeah, it's a win for me. But let's get into our beer introductions for today. So we're drinking, obviously here from DeHop's Brewing Company and Cafe, that Walker Ave ESB. Do you know what the ESB would stand for or no?
I could have sworn we were told one time.
It's on there.
And it's probably on
English Special Bitter. So first thought, bitter. I can taste it, but it's actually really good. So this is how they describe it. It says just the right amount of bitterness backed by a biscuity malt profile. Have we done this one?
I don't know if we've rated this one. I don't think we have. We've
For
drank
some reason,
it
when
many
I read
times.
that, I was like, it sounds familiar now. But it's a traditional English ale, easy drinking, and perfect for when you desire something with a little more backbone.
A backbone in here?
A backbone.
Really?
So you can't really see it, but so when they poured the beer, they stick a backbone in it, and then it dissolves into
Bits
the beer.
of bone marrow?
Yeah. So
That's
I think it's
why
good
it's
for
special.
you. I think it's good for you. I mean, my mom puts a ham bone in her split pea soup, so it's got to be, right? Isn't that how it works?
That's the only way to do it.
Before we jump into our DeHop's Beer Flight segment, I want to remind everyone that DeHop's Brewing Company and Cafe is serving incredible food and pouring some of the best craft beer in West Michigan. Chef Dan's revamped food menu and head brewer Ben's rotating taps, wine, and ciders make DeHop's perfect for whatever you have going on. from dinner with the family like I had tonight, late night drinks with friends, which I'm doing right now, and everything in between. DeHop's is the Ben and Dan duo is putting a ton of their time and energy and making DeHop's a staple in the West Michigan restaurant community that we highly recommend to our friends and listeners. They have Taco Tuesday, Stein Night Wednesday, Thursdays, any burger and beer for $15, along with some other unbelievable specials on Fridays and Saturdays. We highly recommend following them on Instagram and Facebook, where they share their weekly specials and some incredible food and beer pictures that will make your mouth water. DeHop's is the official brewery of State of My Sports in 2022, and if you mention State of My Sports, they'll give you a discount off of your first beer. So let's get right into our beer flight topics of the week. We got some players on the move potentially. Is that you guys want to start with that? You good with that?
Potentially,
Do it.
Yeah, I mean,
They want out.
I mean, where do you want to go with this, John?
I don't know.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's some names that have been mentioned now for the last several months. Like Jimmy G is still out there. It sounds like San Fran's going to hand the ball over to Trey.
Yeah, and Trey
Are they
Lance.
really?
Lance.
Yeah, they're moving on. They said basically they're ready to go with him, and they've given Garoppolo a chance to seek his own trade.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
So now I guess that allows him to pick which way he wants to go, because there's obviously several teams out there that would gladly add him to the roster.
Yeah.
Some spots that might not be as
Is
ideal.
there a certain team that stands out to you that would be a good fit?
A good fit?
Could be Cleveland. Happy ending.
Yeah, that's a good point. Cleveland could.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably going to need a backup quarterback from the sounds of things, right?
Yeah, unless they're trusting Brisket.
You didn't get my joke. But okay.
Sorry, I missed it.
That's okay. Send him to Cleveland. Could be a happy ending.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
All right. All right. That was good. Sorry, I missed it.
Keep hearing like Texas or Houston Texans.
Okay.
Rumored, as well as like Seattle.
Seattle seems like an interesting one.
Yeah, just kind of weird to trade in their division.
But everybody
happens.
needs to know how healthy he is too.
Yeah, right.
That's a big concern.
Yep. Off-season surgery, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Hasn't really thrown a ball yet. Just hanging out watching.
Yeah,
things happen.
not that we've seen. It's just he's an interesting one. And as a Lions fan, I like to think a player's available. All right, does it fit? I'm not saying Goff is 100% better than Jimmy G, but for some reason I trust Goff year 2 rather than bringing in Jimmy G and being in year 1 and like starting fresh. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather have the year 2 guy and hope that he takes some steps. Otherwise, like I don't want to like hitch my wagon to another quarterback outside of drafting the next one or getting a tier guy and like a top tier level quarterback in free agency or trade next year, whatever it comes down to.
I think Jimmy G is like a systems quarterback too. You know, he went from New England to San Francisco, played behind Tom Brady to playing with Mike Shanahan, right? Their head coach.
Kyle Shanahan,
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Son of,
yeah.
Mike.
Which I think Kyle Shanahan's one of the best coaches in the football. I really do.
So I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm not on the bandwagon of bringing him to Detroit. Pairing him up with Dan Campbell might be a little awkward for a guy like Jimmy G.
He's a little too in your face for a pretty boy like Jimmy G.
Yeah, very, very pretty boy. So yeah, I don't know. I could see him going. Yeah, I mean Cleveland makes sense too if that season-long suspension comes down on Deshaun Watson. What do you do?
Yeah,
you're not really paying him very much money this year, from the sounds of it, with the way his contract is built.
Yeah.
So you might have some room for him.
Do you think Washington's married to Wentz?
I do. Yeah, I think they do. Like
really?
They trust him for some reason. Yeah, I don't see that one. Falcons could be an interesting one. Do they love Mariota? That one's interesting.
Yeah.
But like the teams that still need quarterbacks are teams that are playing that game of maybe we just tank for the next guys in the draft.
Yeah, wait it out. Yeah.
If Jimmy G comes in and gives them 3 more wins, is that really valuable? Probably not.
How about Minnesota? I mean, are they going to give an extension to Cousins?
I think they gave him one last year, didn't they?
Did they?
I thought they did. I think he's under 2 more years, but I could be wrong.
Oh.
But I mean, I would take Kirk Cousins over Jimmy G.
I would too.
Like I really would.
Especially with that dynamic wide receiving core they got there in Minnesota.
Someone that I think Kirk Cousins gets a bad rap personally.
Absolutely.
A little bit more.
I mean, look who he played for in Minnesota too.
Yeah.
Now he's got his guy.
that I'm very interested to see how that pans out.
Another quarterback name that's kind of surfaced in recent days too is Sam Darnold, because it sounds like Carolina's going to kind of hand the helm over to Baker Mayfield. Now, if that's just for the start of the season, okay. But is he going to get traded early on, before a trade deadline per se?
The fact that they're already handing the keys over, like they went into camp being like, no, it's a quarterback competition, and here they are like, no, it's not even close.
Yeah.
I think that could be the miss that the Lions missed out on. It was going after a guy like Baker Mayfield to upgrade. I think he could have been a slight upgrade because he has a higher upside, I would say.
Okay.
But I think what we're seeing with that makes Sam Darnold definitely expendable, but at the same time I don't think anybody will really.
He's super young too. I mean,
I would take a flyer on it. Like if we could get him for cheap and then get rid of Blau and Boyle, that's I think a match made in heaven. Like get someone that can really compete and make this room a little deeper.
Yep.
But I also don't want to trade for a backup quarterback. So it'll be an interesting one to kind of keep an eye on. And that's kind of the same thing with Jimmy G. It's like just let it play out, and then you never know what you can get at.
Yeah, and another player, Odell Beckham, still hasn't been signed. He's kind of out there.
Yeah, that one actually surprised me.
Yeah,
I thought he was with the Rams already.
Yeah, Super Bowl champ. But coming off another, torn ACL, I believe.
Yeah, in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, second one of his career. But he's being recruited by veterans across the league. Sounds like a old teammate of his, Von Miller, is recruiting him to come to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Sounds like that'd be crazy.
Man, Odell with that team would be.
Oh yeah, he's used to playing in the cold, playing outside.
Yeah.
Playing for the Giants for so long and the Browns. So
I don't understand how it hasn't been done yet. It seems like a match made in heaven, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Detroit really necessarily has room for him either. I think you got to wait out Jameson Williams and just bring him back when he's healthy before giving a veteran that's been banged up the kind of money. But it would be interesting if he did land in Detroit, because that's a crazy deep wide receiving core.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yep.
Again, not on that wagon. But the most recent name to surface.
Yeah. This one's actually very intriguing.
Roquan Smith for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah,
linebacker.
Second team All-Pro.
Yeah, he's been trying to negotiate a deal and hasn't had any headway with the Chicago Bears organization, and he's come out saying that he wants to get out of town.
Yeah.
They're not going to pay the man.
That's an interesting one. And I wish I would have been able to do more of a dive into it today. But I think it was even after lunch that it kind of was all going down, so it was just like kind of wrapped up. But like, he's a good linebacker. Linebacking is definitely thin in Detroit, and I feel like you could bring him on, and that makes your defense that much better. But what is it going to cost to get for him or get him, and then what does it cost to lock him up? And that's really the biggest question. Like, if you're going to give up a first-round pick, let's just start the bar there. I don't know if it would take a first round, but let's just assume that it is. And you could give the Rams pick for him, but then locking him up for how much? And then you're missing out on that rookie deal that these guys can really become valuable. Now, in the moment right here, I'm like, go get him, make us better, and let's see how we can put this thing together. But I also want to be patient because we're not close. We're not a Super Bowl contender. We're never going to be a Super Bowl contender this year. So continue to be patient and let this thing happen. What do you think about that?
It'd be an interesting addition to that defense. I think it's a guy that Dan Campbell could thrive with and through, and he would thrive through that system too, having a front heavy defensive line presence that he's going to have deep, right? I feel like Chicago would want a lot in return. Again,
especially in division, right?
Yeah, and I just don't know that like giving up draft picks right now is worth it instead of using those draft picks to continue to build for the future. But I don't know. Chicago needs wide receivers too. They don't got anybody for Justin Fields to throw the ball to. They could probably use an offensive lineman. I don't know if there's somebody that's on the bottom of our depth chart and maybe a decent wide receiver to throw in to a package. But again, I feel like you're still going to have to give up some draft stock to get a hold of that guy. Yeah, and it just seems like the right decision is to be patient, right? Yeah. I mean, you look at what they did with their second round pick. Like combining their second round pick with the 31st overall pick with the Rams. Yeah. So what is that, 31 and 34? There was more to it that all happened, but like they used that to move up to 12 or 14, whatever it was, to get Jameson Williams. I'd rather have that flexibility in the draft again next year. Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But at the same time, getting a linebacker is priority one, I think, heading into this next year's draft, outside of a quarterback if the cards fall together. So it's like, could you get a proven linebacker now and then figure out the rest as you go? That's an intriguing way as well. I don't know.
I think it comes down to what he calls for money in the contract. I mean, that's like if he's calling for elite money, I don't think the guy is necessarily elite.
Not yet.
He's very good.
He's put up some numbers that are comparable to some Hall of Famers, which is in his young career, which is what's intriguing.
So can he keep carrying that on and honor that contract that some team would give him? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in wait mode. I'm not saying no that I wouldn't do it, but I want to see what we have at linebacker first. And unfortunately, you don't really learn that a whole lot in preseason. I'm curious about Derrick Barnes. I'm not saying Derrick Barnes is going to compare to him. I'm not saying Anzalone is going to compare to him. I'm not saying Malcolm Rodriguez is. But, like, can you build a linebacking core through depth as well rather than high end? You can do that. It's happened before. And that's a better way to do it rather than paying and giving up extra assets. So, I don't know. I think by the end of it, we'll get more information. There's a chance he gets a new deal, and it's all just a smoke show, I guess, if you will. Is that the right?
Oh, always that.
So
smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors. So I don't know. It's so early to really tell, but it's something to keep an eye on for sure. So no, that was good. Mike, you wanted to talk about some rule changes that you thought were pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was more specifically the lowering of the helmet rule. You know, according to Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk, he kind of sniffed this one out because it seems like things kind of just got swept under the rug as far as like technicalities go. And hopefully, you know, all the officiating crews do what they're supposed to do what they're told, and actually enforce this rule per its wording, right? So let's get into the wording. So they switched the wording to it is a foul if a player lowers his head and makes forcible contact with his helmet against an opponent. So they added the word forcible, which it was worded differently last year. And, you know, an enormous amount of penalties have been handed out. Fines have been handed out over the last 4 years. And I think they're looking at curbing that, but wanting to keep the safety part of it that they've deemed to be safe, right?
Yeah, yep.
And, you know, how does it play out from here? It's going to be a little weird. I mean, it's almost going to be like another learning year with this rule. You know, all of us guys are going to be at some point just throwing our hands up in pure anger, not understanding what's going on.
Now, based on the wording, and I might ask you to read it again here, but it sounds to me like forcible contact by lowering your head. It sounds like an emphasis on the ball carrier to me. Is that fair to say? Because I mean, the hits with your head, like I feel like they've called that pretty consistently. But I'm wondering if it's more focused on that side of it, because we went into like the new targeting rule and like the lowering of the head heading in, where it was like the offense is going to be called as well. And then it feels like they never were. And you see a quarter or a running back like lower their head into people and never get called for it. So like I'm wondering if that's what this new emphasis is. But could you read it again real quick so I can maybe wrap it around a little bit more?
So it is a foul if a player lowers his head and makes forcible contact with his helmet against an opponent. Now, they deleted the word initiate, though.
Initiate.
Okay. They erased that from the rule. So
man. Yeah, it'll be very interesting what they do. And how it changes, because every time they change a rule or emphasize a rule, it goes crazy the first, obviously, preseason, which nobody really cares about. Right. And then the first few weeks, it is the most frustrating thing. And another one that I found was they're trying to look into like the emphasis on illegal contact on the defensive side of the ball. So that we are going to be losing our you-know-whats the first 4 weeks of the season. How's that? What is going? And then it's going to be gone, right?
Right.
Anytime there's a rule change or a rule that's highlighted going into a season, it's mass confusion until just about the playoffs. Then they stop calling it. You know? When they were emphasizing the pass interference downfield, the holding calls, the roughing the passer, I don't know, the tuck rule, like everything, you know, kind of went crazy. I know they talked about, too, a little bit. I don't know if you're getting into this one yet, but, like, contact with a quarterback.
Oh, are they going softer on it even more yet?
I haven't looked that one up. That would be very interesting.
Yeah, because I think there would be a couple of flags that would get called back for Detroit in the favor of this rule, maybe against one said Aaron Rodgers once or twice. A light tap of the helmet is no longer going to be called
Thank you.
roughing the passer. Or what was it before?
They would call it
roughing
the passer. Yeah.
It has to be like an actual like physical contact play.
Love that.
So I think they're talking about changing that to like a 5-yard penalty. Like,
don't like that. Probably with an automatic first down.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, probably. Yeah.
That's that's the thing that really bothers me the most. Like, it's not necessarily the quantity of yards; it's the automatic first down.
Yeah.
Because they can change a game so quickly.
Yeah.
With the automatic first down penalties.
Yeah. If it happens on 2nd or 3rd down and you throw the flag, then you just replay the down, right? But give them a free, fresh. Number of downs.
3rd and 20. Oh, 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down. It's like, what the like, are you kidding me?
Guaranteed like 2 minutes and 40 seconds they can run off the clock, you know, against a team that might not have timeouts.
And then they could have got a penalty and went 5 yards backwards and it just be nothing. Like, it's just so the NFL rulebook is one of the most frustrating things in my opinion. And
they're always altering it.
Yep.
Never stops.
And it's just the little things that they just mess with. And then, like, I seriously think when I see the NFL say, oh, we're going to put an emphasis on this rule, I feel like it's like a Walker cop that's like, oh, we got to get our quota of speeding tickets, so time to get speeding tickets here at the end of the month.
You're going 36 and a 35, I got you.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's the 30th, so I just needed 2 more. Thanks for getting me this one. Like, that's what it looks like. And it's just it gets more ticky-tack, and that's what I think frustrates the fans the most because ticky-tack fouls could be called every single play if you wanted to.
Completely slows down the game, too.
Yeah. There's holding all the time.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just wanted to quick wrap this up with one little thing here. So what the NFL did, they're actually working with Amazon, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a creepy thing. You know, like, you know where I'm kind of going with this. So working with Amazon, and they're using their artificial intelligence program to identify all of these instances of players' helmets making contact with anything.
Oh, gosh.
Starting this year, the league they no longer have the added burden of showing that such contact was initiated by the player who is fined. So, like,
wow.
Like,
well, you see, you know what's coming.
Oh yeah, but with the AI stuff, I don't like it at all. But are you telling me you can't put AI programming things on the goal lines?
Right. We still can't tell.
Are you freaking
was this a first down or not? Let's get the chains out. But we have AI telling us the helmet was actually initiated by the Packers player, not the Bears player, so Packers gets fined. He's like, wait, what?
But with like goal line stuff, with the chains thing.
Yeah.
You know, and they're how they've been the last 2 or 3 seasons with the AWS, like the stat commercial.
Oh yeah.
You know, like really, really cool stats. Like, where'd you guys pull that from?
Yeah.
How can we not figure this out for first downs, for scores? How do you not have that lined out right now? I don't understand.
As cool as those commercials are, they are a load of crap. Like, they're like, oh, he was 0.2 feet from touching his shoelace, and then it's this has
probability.
A 0.6% chance of a touchdown. Right. Someone throws it downfield. Oh, it's a touchdown. Okay, well, where did you come up with that crap? Like, every single play from the 36-yard line, it would, out of all of them, 0.2% would probably be a touchdown. But I don't know. I feel like they're trying to just dip their toes in, but they're not willing to go full on and be like, and take out the integrity of the game. But then they show us all this stuff. And it's like,
oh yeah,
replay
it's
here.
In your head.
Replay here says it was incomplete, but the refs say it was complete, and then it's just like so many different things, and then everybody's wrong. But then it's the worst. As much as I love football, I can't stand sitting watching football games because it's just momentum of the game, like kind of John said, it just gets sucked out of you, and it's like, Lions could have won this game, but the second quarter there was a holding penalty that wasn't a holding penalty, but we got a touchdown, but it got called back, then we punted, and then they got a touchdown. It's like that changed the game.
But how many times when you're watching your team on offense, you have something 20-plus yards happen, and you go,
yep, where's the flag?
You're looking left side of the screen, right side of the screen. You're looking for the little flag emblem, and you're like, oh my gosh, we did it. And then no flag.
And then you're playing the Vikings, and they all have yellow shoes. It's like, wait, is that a flag? No. Is that a flag?
Yeah.
Is that a flag? No, all right, we're good.
You're not even like watching the play. You're watching the reps. You know, it's just like they're all squad down, ready to go. Like,
right.
When's it coming? It's going to be late.
These guys.
Part of that too, they bring in these insiders, these ex-NFL referees to get their opinions. Like, are they going to bring in computers now? Because it's
Mike
like
Pereira.
Yeah.
Hey Siri, was that a penalty?
Oh man, and I feel.
Well, according to Rule 6.497.
Let's check with Amazon real quick. Yeah, it's like I kind of feel bad for that guy because you know that he just called all these plays or penalties, fouls, everything of the game for so dang long. Now you get him in there and he's confident about one, and it's not.
Yeah,
it's just like, well, what's better than I'll give you my opinion at that rate.
It's one of the most frustrating things. Trav always argues they got to get rid of replay and stuff. I'm like, no, they just got to get it right.
That's all they got to do is get it right.
They don't get it right
per their rule.
Yeah,
like
they don't
abide by your rule. But when you don't, that's why everyone's mad.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. But real quick, Carrie from on the comments, she said she's drinking from Transient Brewing Company. Whipped out. Oh boy.
Okay.
Moving on.
Hey.
That's a typo.
Is it whipped out, really?
I think probably.
My God.
Whipped out? I think it's whipped up, maybe.
Whipped out?
I think it's probably it's supposed to be whipped up.
Whipped up. Okay.
Yeah.
Whipped up. That works. Brian, thanks for watching, buddy. Appreciate it. My topic for today was the Big Ten media stuff going on. So I have a lot of stuff going on. I think we'll just zoom through it here quick. The Big Ten negotiations as Fox, CBS, and NBC near deals, in addition to Fox, which had, so I'm going to read this from an article I found, locked up Big Ten rights months ago, which I didn't know. That kind of snuck over me. I did not realize Fox did that.
Say it one more time. Sorry.
Fox locked up the rights months ago. Did you know that?
I remember hearing about it.
Really?
What? Only because
that snuck up on me.
Yeah, only because I listened to Dan Patrick and Colin Cowherd on Fox Sports.
Oh, and they're way better than us. They're up to date. Is that what you're saying?
No, I just remember there being a brief mention.
Okay. It was weird because I feel
Joel Klatt was on. And
it was a lot of like speculation heading into this season with all the expansion and stuff.
Yep.
And then I feel like when I read this, I was like, wait, when did that happen, first of all? But then everything is kind of falling into place, and that's what we're going to kind of get into. The conference is likely to partner with both CBS and NBC such deals as well. Such deals, if finalized, could result in the following Saturday slate: a noon start on Fox, a 3:30 start on CBS, and a prime time start on NBC.
That's
so
crazy.
Big Ten
Every
with
Saturday?
CBS, which I hate that because I think CBS does the worst football
CBS
of all
is
time.
garbage.
It's always SEC, right?
You know what? It's a step above ESPN.
It is a step above ESPN.
Absolutely.
Yep. But then NBC getting involved, which antennas up. Like what's going on with Notre Dame? That might be another part of it.
Exactly.
Very, very interesting. And I love that. I think NBC does football better than anybody, but I think Fox does college football better than anybody.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like this is a match made in heaven outside of the 3:30 start, which I hate 3:30 starts in general. So either give me the noon game or the night game, and I'm good with it. But the Big Ten is also likely to add some sort of streaming option, though not clear yet how it will be structured. It might be through Amazon, might be through Apple, could be through NBC's Peacock as well. I mean, it'll be really interesting to see how that all plays out. CBS is expected to pay the Big Ten $350 million per year in its new deal. NBC is also expected to pay around $350 million per year. And obviously with what's going on with Fox, I haven't seen that one. So that's one I'm assuming theirs is probably 600 plus. being like the real holder of the Big Ten. That's going to be interesting. But it basically eclipsed $1 billion in revenue for the Big Ten, is what it sounds like. And I don't know if revenue is the right word. In media deals.
Yeah, for sure. So I think Notre Dame is slowly walking right to the Big Ten.
Yeah. What was their comment? Like, if we can make $75 million off of NBC, we'll stay independent. Well, Big Ten just got $350 million.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Like, I'm sorry, they're not gonna. First of all, I doubt they even gonna pay you $75 million. They're probably gonna say, "Get your butt in the Big Ten, and we'll see you there." I feel like eventually NBC is going to make that type of decision. We're done with you, Notre Dame. Look, that's coming from a non-Notre Dame fan. Notre Dame fans will probably get all mad, be like, "Oh, well, no, they're going to still love us and stuff." I think this might be the end of Notre Dame as independent.
NBC checks bank account 0.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, you're going to have to join the Big Ten or the ACC
go
or
over
the
to
SEC.
that Big Ten school, and then we'll still show your games.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would assume that CBS will have other, like, and you also have the Big Ten Network that's going to have a game. So I mean, It's not just those 3 games that are going to be shown. Every game's going to be shown by high end. But then the other conversation is ESPN being done. How does that make you feel? Like, first of all, I hate ESPN. I think they do a terrible job with all games except 100%. For Kirk Street games. I like their night games. I think they do a good job with that. Now, will the Big Ten ever see a ESPN night game anymore? They can't now, right? I think that's the rule. Will game day ever show up at the Big Ten games? Do we care about that, or is that ship sailed? Like, these are just questions I'm kind of asking myself, and I don't know the answer yet. But
with the college game day, I think they still show up, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen. Fox, what is it? What do they call it?
Fox
Big Noon Kickoff.
Big Noon Kickoff, which way better than ESPN Game Day, personally.
Same type of thing. You had Barstool Sports there at the same time with College Game Day and all those guys. I mean, they're still going to show up for events like that. But as far as the airing, I mean, I don't know, whatever. I'm not missing out on anything.
No.
Like,
who's the girl that does the 3:30 starts on ESPN?
Is that Beth or just?
If I don't have to listen to her, and it's not just her, it's a lot of the ESPN announcers that do an absolutely terrible job that I'm excited that I don't have to listen to.
Yep.
If that's the way that this is all going to unfold. But, John, what do you think about this all going on?
I mean, $1 billion in media rights.
A year.
Yeah. All right. Welcome, better recruiting. Everything that comes along with it. Yeah, I think the Big Ten's going to continue to expand. And, they have to with this happening. You got to take advantage while you can. It'll be interesting to see what happens in college football down the road. I think there's going to be a lot of big changes, drastic, realignment stuff. We don't have to talk about any of that right now.
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't know, you get Notre Dame in there, you get Stanford in there, I don't know, add Oregon. Wow.
Yeah.
Look out. That's a lot of fun football to watch on national, mainstream outlets.
Big name schools.
Yeah.
They might not be the best football schools all the time, but big name schools that have an audience, have a big media, whatever I'm trying to think of, a market, and it's just SEC's just got a new deal that's striking up with ESPN now, right? It's a fairly new deal. And I think it was
I would assume ESPN is pouring all of the dough into that.
I think it was a fairly new deal, and it's less than a third of this. I think.
Okay. Really?
I think so. If I remember correctly, I think it was $300 million a year.
Yikes!
Which is great for them, but
when
compare that to $1 billion.
Yeah.
Big Ten knows what they're doing.
When there were good matchups in the SEC, I always liked watching the late afternoon SEC games on CBS. But
was that the one with the "You Are Looking Live" guy?
Yeah.
I liked him. I thought he did a good job.
And then it's just I think a lot of that is just the crowd atmosphere too. If you had an LSU or a Bama game, Ole Miss, you throw a couple of those marquee matchups in there, that was cool. But man, again, the Big Ten expanding. There's going to be a lot of big matchups every week in and week out. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and production value is obviously a key to all of this.
And how about like the smaller schools that are playing these Big Ten teams?
Huge for them.
That are now going to be on Fox. You know, where you might have saw that game on ESPN or the Big Ten Network.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't.
It doesn't hurt Big Ten football whatsoever.
It's crazy that when I saw that $1 billion, holy smokes.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. And it's split between multiple networks. That's telling you, like, yeah, it might mean more in the SEC. Well, you're not getting that money for what means more to you. So, I don't know. Good stuff. It'll be interesting to see. Like, it's obviously not official yet, but definitely worth talking about in the moment.
Having fun and talking sports in the state of Michigan. You're listening to State of My Sports.
Look,
Fire Al. Fire
Right.
Al. Fire Al.
I don't like talking about the Tigers. I really don't. But it is post-trade deadline. There was some interesting things going on, and we're starting to get into that tank mode and checking the bottom of the standings, making sure everything lays out. So I did want to start just kind of talking about what we saw since last episode. They went 2-5. They are now 43-67 overall, dead last in the division, behind the Royals now, second to last in the AL. They have more wins than the A's. Two more wins than the A's and 7 more wins than the Nationals. Third to last in the league, and now and lose everything now. Like that's where I'm at. Like 97 won the ticket. Obviously, I talk about them a lot because that's what I listen to. But Carson Anderson were having a conversation, and they talked about it. So they're like, "Look, this is spring training. You want to learn more about your players. You want to see what they got. You want to see what they're doing. You want to be excited about them." But in the long run, you don't want to win or lose these. Like, you don't want to. It doesn't matter if you win or lose these games, is the way they said it. I chimed in and was like, it does matter. You need to keep losing. Like, that's where we're at now, unfortunately. Like,
absolutely.
Let this ass hit the fan. Like, it needs to happen. And then I was, like, kind of preparing for this last night, and I started digging into it, and it's like, it's actually, people might forget, lottery starts next year for the MLB. And that was shocking to me. I remember talking about it. I remember it all going down. But then I was like, all right, yeah, we need to be in that. So I did dig into a little bit what the lottery is. The lottery is the first 6 picks determined by the lottery. It is important for the Tigers to lose. Obviously, are valuable. From what I read, only the first 6 picks are determined based on some percentage. So I found the percentages, and I think this is still speculation yet. I don't think there's anything like nailed down, but I could be wrong. Because this was from a pretty early or young article, like early in the year, I should say. So the first 3 teams, odds for selecting first overall are 16.5%. It drops to 13.25, 10%, 7.5, 5.5, 3.9. So it's like we need to finish in that bottom 3, bottom 5. That is really important because outside of the 6, like say a team or two jump you, then you start falling into the. Like, once the 6 is determined by the lottery, then it goes by worst record from 7 and down. So, it's really important. And I hate playing this game, and now that we have to play this in baseball, it really sucks. Oh, yeah. But it's something that we got to keep an eye on. We need to lose these games. What is that going to entail, though, is very curious to me. Are we going to lose A.J. Hinch? Honestly, put a knife to my nose, I'd probably say he's done. I really do. I think this is going to be a start over type scenario. New GM, new coach. But I guess time will tell. I don't know. I think it's probably too early to get into that. But if this team continues to go as bad as they are, I don't know if AJ wants to stay, and I don't know if the Tigers can just be like, yeah, we got to hold on to you and bring in the new GM, which we'll get into that here soon, and not let him pick his manager, not coach. Sorry, but. I don't know. What do you guys think about where we're at in this Tigers season?
It's a freaking mess.
It's so bad watching this team.
Literally the highlight is tanking. It is. Honest to goodness is, and it's sad.
We're still in August, early
sad.
August. And we're like, yeah, let's just lose.
Yeah.
We're completely checked out.
It's bad. There's no talent on the field. You have the name and Javi Baez out there. Okay,
who has leading the league in errors?
And you got
hitting 215.
Old man Miggy. His smile makes everyone smile and sell tickets. It's cute and great.
Yeah,
but we have nothing. We have nothing to show. We have an incompetent GM. AJ Hinch that may be disgruntled, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a piss poor organization right now.
And I did want to talk a little more about the weekend, and we'll get into the trade deadline and where the front office is at and stuff. But there's some crazy things that I found. In a 4-game series against the Rays this past weekend, the Tigers walked 2 times to the Rays 27 times. 2. How is that not an approach issue? How is this hitting coach still the issue, or still have a job? Or if this is AJ Hinch's call, how does he still have a job?
I said something about the hitting coach like a month ago.
Oh, yeah.
How are we not freaking talking about this?
Yeah. John, what were you going to say?
I guess Akil Baddoo must have played, right? If they had that many, walks. I don't know, just no patience at the plate. I still am just blown away that early in the game when things are close, you got a runner on first and you're not even laying down one bunt opportunity. Don't even show it. Like, it's not even a card in their hand anymore. And it's just like, they're not going to win with the long ball. Why can't you play a little small ball just to make things close, make things exciting, put some pressure on these pitchers, make them finish their games out, make their pinch counts go up, make the bullpen get used. We're going through a record number of starting pitchers this year, right? Leading the majors.
I'm sure.
Different starting pitchers that we've had to call upon, which I never would have thought going into the season. Obviously, you can't predict injuries and guys going on the DL. But this is, it's garbage. It's I don't know if tanking is a word that they can use in the MLB. It's tanking. Are we trusting a process anymore? I don't know. I don't like this process. If it's process of elimination, then we're going to probably lose a really good manager.
Everything you've mentioned, like you said, a lot of the fans are checked out. With everything you mentioned to a T, how are you going to tell me that the entire coaching staff isn't checked out? In a sense.
It's ridiculous. I can't imagine what they're going through. And AJ Hinch used to come on the 97.1 every week. He hasn't been on in a couple weeks. There's something going on. Like, it is not going to end well. Another stat: they walked, obviously, like I said, 2 times. They struck out 29 times, which was, 2 to 29. That's not a good ratio. In the Sunday's game, 9th inning, great. Really good baseball game. I sat and watched some of it with Easton, which I can't explain to him this going on right now. So I just let him hope that the Tigers win and just be really into it.
He probably thinks they're in every game,
Exactly. 0-0 to the 9th, and then what happens? 7 runs. They lose 7-0. And another shutout. I'm sure this is probably the 30th time, probably in the 20s, more realistic number that they've been shut out this year.
It's what's going on right now.
Are they getting shut out?
5-0.
No, sounds about right. What else is new? It is just an absolute you-know-what show. Getting into the deadline, the moves that were made. Grossman was traded to the Braves for left-hander Chris Angler, a former 16th round pick. He started this year with single A Augusta Green Jackets, but struggled to tune of a 5.93 ERA and a 1.549 whip. He struck out 36 batters in 30 innings, blah, blah, blah. Also issued 19 walks. He does not break the Tigers' top 30 prospects, nor did he with the Braves. So great job. I'm not going to say we lost this trade by any means because we're giving up Grossman. I didn't expect anything, but it's just funny that he doesn't even break our top 30 prospects. It's just.
Can you reread what you said in parentheses there? The former what?
16th rounder.
16th round.
It's just crazy.
What a return.
But with Grossman's expiring contract, you weren't expecting a lot, right?
I think I watched the game where Grossman was pulled from the game, and they informed him that he was traded. And
Yeah.
they interviewed him in the locker room after the game. Was that at your house? No,
You know,
I don't think it was.
So,
I
no,
think it was
we recorded last Monday,
Yeah.
and the trade deadline was on Tuesday. He was traded that night.
Okay.
So
must have
it
been
did come out. So
after we left. But
Yeah.
I don't know, his in locker room conversation, I guess. I wouldn't really call it an interview, but they were kind of sending him out. Man, he didn't look like he was too sad about leaving Detroit.
like,
And
"Deuces."
really looking forward to a fresh start and hopeful opportunity. And
yeah.
I'm sure, Atlanta's in the hunt, so at least he's going to a contender. Good for him.
Must be nice.
Yeah, and then Michael Fulmer was traded across the hall because they were playing Minnesota, which was, that's just funny, the way that all goes down.
Didn't he? He got rocked that night too, didn't he?
I think he did. Yeah, you're right.
That game went into extra innings, but
Yeah,
he
and
gave
was,
up like
he was
two or
one that
three
gave up
ones.
a tying run, I think.
Yeah.
To the Twins, in return, Detroit received right-hander Sawyer Gibson-Long, a former 6th-round pick, who also had not appeared among the Twins' top 30 prospects and does not crack the Tigers' top 30 prospects. So it's not even talking Baseball America's top 100. We're not even talking about our top 30. Like, it's just, again, expected. Look who's doing the job. Look who we're giving up. It wasn't that big of a deal. I don't want to lose any sleep over losing these trades, but I think it's a bigger picture of what was going on, because we went into it talking about Tarek Skubal, Gregory Soto, Joe Jimenez, Andrew Chafin. We're all being talked about. Fulmer on top of Fulmer and Grossman, but with control, it felt like we still have control of these other guys. It felt like Avila, handcuffs were put on him and said, "Do what you want with these two. You cannot make any decisions on guys that we have control over." It felt like that, didn't it? Look, there are teams that would have wanted these guys, and it truly felt like they were like, "Avila, you're gonna get your, handed to you, promotion, if you want to call it that. We'll figure out what it is when all is said and done." But it felt like those guys were off limits. The guys that he was allowed to trade were the two that he did. And it just it just feels that way. And now, will we ever get the truth? No, we won't, unfortunately. But when we were heading into that deadline, and we were talking about multiple guys that could bring value to some, contenders.
Oh yeah.
And none of them were moved, and we see why. It screams that Avila's gone. Hopefully soon rather than later. And that's this going to be my next question. You would agree with me that it seems like they put handcuffs on him and said, "You can't do that, right? You can't trade these guys, right?" Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So why does he still have a job? What is going on that, does he have naked pictures of somebody that we don't know about? What is going on? He's got somebody by the balls in that organization. It's like, you ain't fired me yet.
Listen,
it's absolutely insane.
I get it, but at this point, he can't do any more damage this year. So wait.
You don't underestimate the value of the damage that dude can do. He's going to find a way.
I know.
He's going to accidentally release somebody, and we're going to wonder what the heck's going on.
I think Little Caesar hot and ready pizzas are at an all-time high right now. Right? It's got to have something to do with the the play on the field. Come on, let's be honest.
Avila.
Yeah, exactly.
With the lack of damage that can be done at this point, just wait till the season, ride it out, make the moves you need to make, and you better move this man out of the GM position. I don't care where he goes. He cannot make these decisions any longer.
And they need to do it now. He can't make trades. He can't make signings. Get rid of him. Tell the league we are open for business and we mean business. That's what people need to hear in the league, because nobody's going to take this team serious if they're going to keep this guy on.
Where's Theo?
Right? I'm sure he's got a pretty cushy job in the MLB, but
I don't care.
Just
money.
Chris Ilitch, you have two teams. I know Yzerman's your hero, and you love him, and he's doing a great job, but you still own two teams. Chris, I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to you, Micah. I'm talking to Chris Ilitch right now. You have two teams. You have one doing great. Let that one go. You have one drowning. Start getting your fingers on that one, right?
Throw him a lifesaver.
Do something, buddy. Do something. Couple more things that happened with the Tigers. After the trade deadline, the new farm system rankings came out. And, like we've always been told, Avila, he rebuilt our farm system, right? Like we were up there, we were strutting our stuff. Yeah, we might not be winning. We're rebuilding, but look at our farm system. Now here we are with our farm system depleted because guys are getting graduated up and we suck. And we now have the 24th ranked farm system in all of the MLB. I mean, just come on. Like, let's give him a hand with it. Let's go. Like, this is incredible. Great job, Avila. Our team still sucks. Our farm system now sucks. You've done way, way worse than Dave Dombrowski. And for the people that say Dave Dombrowski didn't pay attention to the farm system, this is why it doesn't matter. Farm systems don't matter.
When you have a joker at the helm.
Get somebody in there, and it might be ownership, and maybe Avila's doing what he's told. I don't know. But this is absolutely embarrassing that they dropped that far. They were 13th heading into the season, which, again, wasn't that great. But then they dropped to 24th because of guys that can't play in the MLB or get called up to the MLB. It's just, it is such a joke in this state. Like, I've been trying to get creative with my memes. I don't know if you guys see these or not, but I've been creating these Avila memes.
Oh, yeah.
They're getting a lot of traction. Like, people are loving hating on Avila. And I'm pretty proud of them. People like them. I'm not saying they're going viral or anything, but for us,
one of my favorite ones was the earlier one. It was, if it has vertigo, send it back.
I know. I thought that would be a lot funnier.
I was dying.
I thought that one was good because I was like, all right, Avila preparing, because it was The Office.
Yeah.
You like The Office?
Oh, yeah.
So you know that episode when Michael Scott's sitting there and with the guy that he thinks is part of the mob, and he keeps talking about, I'll send it back. I forget what Michael said. I think it was like, I'll have a side salad, and if it's not in the side, I'll send it back. And so it was just, I don't know. I put Avila's face on. It was good. I was pretty proud of that one. But there's been some that's gotten attention. So I don't know. Avila's a big, he's
a problem.
He's enemy number one in Detroit. It's crazy.
Yeah. And outside of Detroit, I mean,
right?
It's starting to spread. Anybody that moves away from Michigan's on the same boat. Root for this team for so long, have all these hopes, and make a couple World Series appearances, and this is what we get out of the deal.
Last 7 drafts, they drafted 12th overall, 3rd overall, 1st overall, 5th overall, 1st overall, 18th, and 19th overall, and we have the 24th ranked prospect, and we're still 3rd worst overall right now. It's absolutely embarrassing.
What is it going to do to your soul if you see Avila stay on for another season?
If he stays on for another season,
tell me you're temporarily done.
I would love to say that. I can't personally do that. I think I'd pretend to. And then I would still watch. That's just how I can't not watch. It's tough, but I would be just another. Go ahead. Let's do another year of this crap, and we'll continue to talk about Avila every episode.
Yeah, just tune into the Tigers games to see his failures and unaccomplishments just blossom. Yeah, another year.
Another last little bit of Tigers news, and I think we can make this quick, but Miguel Cabrera, early last week reports are coming out that he wasn't sure about next year, if he was going to be able to play, if his body could get through it. And then here we are. This week or late last week, he came out and said, no, he's going to finish out his contract and he's going to play next year. Now, I'm okay with it. I don't want to push a guy out the door. He's got a contract. It's fair. Is he overpaid? Yeah, I don't really care because it's no salary cap, so I don't think that should be a crutch for ownership or anything like that. But now, I start thinking about, all right, but is him in that DH slot heading into next year and all of next year a problem? I'm not saying that the team's going to go out and win as soon as we get a DH or something like that. But we need to get some kind of power in the DH spot. Should be priority number one to get power from him. Now, again, I don't want to push Miggy out the door. He's I love him. I would love for him to be on a team. I wish that they were in the step in the right direction this year, can build onto it next year. But now I look at a guy like this Kerry Carpenter guy. who is 22nd overall prospect in Detroit, but really exploded this year. He has 30 bombs, 75 RBI, hitting .316 in AAA, combination of AA, AAA. It's like, well, why can't we just give him a shot and shut down Miggy? Or, like, I don't know the answer.
Oh, yeah.
But, like,
yeah. Who makes those decisions?
I think Avila, somebody like that. But, like,
good.
Again, you don't cut a guy and say, here's $35 million. You don't do that to a legend. But is there a way to make this work better than paying him $35 million to be our DH next year? That's, I think, something that we're going to be playing around with in the offseason, into spring training, like trying to figure it all out. I don't expect you guys to have an answer. I don't have an answer. But, like, I think it's an intriguing opportunity here. Once the new GM comes in, what decision is he gonna make is also a part of it.
Maybe he could be like a player coach, and maybe, when Detroit's getting blown out 14-0, he can come in and pitch a couple
right
batters. Like
I did see a stat. Was it Harold Castro that keeps coming in and pitching?
Yeah.
He has more appearances than like Casey Mize and Matt Manning combined, heading Eduardo Rodriguez or something like that. It's like, oh my gosh.
Add to the clown show.
I don't know. I don't want to get rid of Miggy. I don't know. But at the same time, like, you almost have to give him that, that victory tour, right? That retirement tour or whatever, Hall of Fame tour, I suppose. He's going to be in there. So it's one of those things. But yeah, like you said, overpaying for a position. Major League Baseball players are the last ones to take a little less money for the benefit of the team. He's not a Tom Brady who's going to spend money on wide receivers because I'm already worth $1 billion.
Look, I don't blame Miggy for wanting the money and for wanting his farewell tour. I don't blame the Tigers for this last year of the deal and what we're paying him. I don't blame any of those situations, but then I wonder if we're better off without him for development purposes. And that's the game that I'm going to be playing in the offseason, and we'll kind of see how it lands. I don't know the answer, but it'll be pretty intriguing as we get closer to spring training. I don't know why I pushed that. I apologize.
If it's craft beer in Michigan sports, we may not be the authority, but we love both like a fat kid loves cake. Hot, hot! This is State of My Sports.
So we're moving on to some Detroit Lions conversation and really some NFL talk. I did want to start with some of the NFL things that I think are worth touching on. Deshaun Watson suspension. This is probably 3 weeks in a row now that we've talked about him. On Wednesday, the NFL announced that they were going to appeal the suspension handed to Watson. On Thursday, the report circulated that the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell selected former New Jersey Attorney General Peter C. Harvey to hear the appeal. And then I saw something come up on my phone a little bit earlier that Goodell's comments basically were, this guy's predatory predatory behavior deserves a 1-year suspension. So here we are. The suspension came out, and what the NFL did by putting it in someone else's hands, then saying, no, you're wrong. Like, it's all kind of up there. But then when I hear the quotes, his predatory behavior deserves 1 year. It's like, no, his predatory behavior actually, if you're going to call it that, deserves lifetime, you're done, in my opinion. Like,
absolutely.
If you're going to go out and call a guy a predator,
those people are in prison for life.
Kick him out of the league, right? Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, literally.
Now, they're all civil suits that have been taken care of for the most part. We don't want to bore people with that type of information. But when you see the commissioner, the guy that can do whatever the heck he wants, he can kick people out of the league. He can tell them to leave. I think he can lock them up in his basement. I don't know. He can do whatever he wants with people.
Creepy.
I know that was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. That was predatory behavior or comment.
It puts the lotion on its skin.
When a guy comes out and says predatory behavior, like, it struck a nerve with me, and I was like, you yourself are going to call him a predator, but you're not going to kick him out of your league? No, I'm not saying kick the guy out of the league. That's not what I'm saying. But if you truly believe that he's a predator, why are you okay with him being in the league next year? Like, it's just such a weird thing going on. and we don't get paid enough to figure out the ins and outs and stuff like that. But did that strike a nerve with you guys when you heard that, or no? John, sorry, you were.
A little bit, but I think it mostly comes down to Roger Goodell having to say something now, because the original suspension was completely out of his hands, which is what the NFL Players Association union, the owners want, is for him to not be the one that comes down with the hammer. But let's face it, a 6-game suspension is not enough for what has proven to happen. I know that these civil suits have been settled. Yeah. But you can't tell me that 25 people come out and accuse a guy of something and it not be true. That's a little far-fetched. One or two massage therapists saying he might have crossed the line is one thing. So I think it's just him kind of throwing out a ploy to hope that this next or the appeal process increases that suspension. I know that they're hoping for a year. He already sat out a year. But at least double that 6-game suspension to give Cleveland no chance of having this guy in the field for any significant games.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up kind of how we viewed Ray Rice. Completely different situations. I get it, but it's what has negatively been done to women with these NFL players. Whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's. Ray Rice was one thing, Deshaun Watson's another thing, but it's essentially in the same realm, and Ray Rice hasn't sniffed a second of playtime since then.
Because the video came out.
Right, because the video came out, but that also really doesn't matter. Like John said, you're talking one or two isn't, might be here or there, but we're talking 25 people. Yeah. That's a massive difference. At that point, you're 6 games, 1 year. I mean, sure, maybe not kick him out of the league, but how are you? How is this not being talked about with what Josh Gordon has? He's had drug abuse problems, and it's been year after year reinstatement, year after year reinstatement, da 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 da. However you want to play it, but it doesn't match anything. It's not consistent with what the league's done in the past.
Yeah, I think substance abuse, Matt Prater comes to mind. I forget what his, I think it was 8 games. Actually, it might have been an indefinite suspension until he got his stuff figured out. And it's this just seems, it seems like it should be an indefinite suspension and be we'll tell you when you're good. You know what I mean? And, getting into the weeds here, but the NFL and NFLPA came up with a decision to let independent people make these decisions. And then as soon as the first time that it happens, I thought the NFL set it up perfect for themselves. It was hey, it wasn't our call. And then you got one guy saying, hey, we don't deserve anything. You got another part of the league saying, no, he deserves a year, if not more. But the independent person said 6 games, so we'll just stick by that. And then it was not our choice. We're done. Wash our hands and walk away. But no, the NFL's no, we're going to appeal this. Now, do I agree with the NFL? Yeah, probably. But, if you're going to do it, just do it. You know what I mean? If you want somebody to make this decision for you, stick by it. And that's the frustrating thing. Why does the NFL have to appeal a suspension? They should be the one setting the hammer. And I know that's what they're trying to get away from. But, I don't know. It just feels so weird that, what's going on. And, honestly, there's no right answer for it. If it was a year, people would have been mad. If it was 4 games, people would have been mad. If it was 6 games, 8 games, 12 games, people were going to be mad either way. You're not going to make everybody happy. Mm-hmm. But it's just, that's where I just look at it and be the NFL missed the opportunity to be that's what it is. It is what it is. Sorry. But another thing that was going on, Kyler Murray saga continued. We didn't get into it last week, but the Cardinals did go on and remove the study clause. But the damage was done, right? You can't erase what they went through with that clause. for the people that missed it, but he had a clause that he had to study. I think it was 6 hours a week or something like that outside of the football stadium or something. And it was in good faith. And it was just it screams so weird. But then it just kind of keeps on going. But this was the quote. After seeing the distraction it created, we removed the addendum from the contract. The Cardinals said in a statement to ESPN, it was clearly perceived in a way that were never intended. Our confidence in Kyler Murray is high as it's ever been, which I'm assuming isn't very high, but it's as high as it's ever been. Sorry, I lost my spot. And committed to him, basically, is what they're at. In an unscheduled press conference, I think it was last Thursday, maybe the week prior, Kyler Murray pushed back on public criticism of his work ethic that was prompted by a clause. He said, independent study. Oh, sorry, that was all. I don't even know why I have that in there. That was stupid. But basically, he went on and said, I'm flattered that you guys think that someone my size can compete at this level without studying or something like that. It's just oh my gosh, dude, what in the world is your deal? But he did say it's disrespectful and a joke. Kind of keep on going with the Kyler Murray stuff, which I just love because I was an anti-Kyler Murray guy heading in to the draft, and I kind of love that I'm kind of right about it. But during a recent practice, Kingsbury became a bit perturbed. What is that word, John? Perturbed. I'm going to say perturbed because that sounds right. Anyways, with Murray shaking his head at some of the play calls, Kingsbury then proceeded to show his star signal caller that calling plays isn't as easy as it may look at times by turning those duties over to Murray during backups and scout team reps. He said, I just wanted him to know, hey, this S ain't easy. Every now and then he starts shaking his head when I'm calling it in there. I'm like, all right, big dog. Anytime we can keep him involved, he was coaching them up right until this last second. While they were trying to throw, he was saying stuff to them. So probably won't be doing that again. I would not want to play for Kyler Murray if I were a quarterback coach. That was butchered. But anyways, the fact that a head coach did that to his star quarterback, this seems like this is ready. This is a soap opera, first of all.
Crash and burn.
Something is done there. It is not going to end pretty. Now, they locked up Kyler Murray, so who's going to be the bad guy? Cliff Kingsbury. But, man,
if
it seems like Kyler Murray's the problem.
Kyler Murray.
I agree.
Oh,
not that I'm saying Kingsbury's a good coach or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But
I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good play caller.
I just think Kyler Murray is continuing to be shown to be the issue. In doing what Kingsbury did right there, he did that on purpose. He did that to make him look bad, in my opinion. And to talk about it after the fact.
I forget what national sports show I was listening to. They talked about how Kyler Murray's in these Fortnite and Madden tournaments.
Right.
And if you look back on his career, his statistically bad games that he has had in the NFL have happened to fall on the same weekends that these big national worldwide tournaments are going on.
Yeah, so it was
Serious.
I think it's the double.
He's a big gamer.
It's a Call of Duty, I think.
Is it Call of Duty?
Yeah,
okay.
and when they have double point weeks or weekends and stuff, he's lost every game and he's just absolutely terrible.
So I don't know, man.
It's actually really funny.
It is, and I think that's why it's in. Was originally in the contract clause.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think maybe it was just a way to make the Arizona Cardinals off season a little more relevant because DeAndre Hopkins is down with PED use. That's a black eye, but. They play in the same conference as the LA Rams and the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
And Russell Westbrook, or not Westbrook, Wilson left, Seattle, go to Denver. So, hey, how can we get in the news,
Yeah.
And this is what we do.
Something that I did want to, and I'm asking this, if one of you guys want to look it up, great. If you don't want to, that's fine. But aren't the Cardinals the in-season Hard Knocks team this year? Because they did
in-season.
Yeah, they
Hard
did
Knocks?
in-season Hard Knocks for the Colts last year, and I'm pretty sure it's the Cardinals this year.
Oh.
I could be wrong, but
If that's the case,
that's going to be must-watch TV
one.
for different reasons. But John, you are going to look that up. But it's just, I don't know, he did it on purpose. And that sounds like a marriage on the fritz. You know what I mean? Like it does not seem like it can end well in any way, shape, or form. And I was right.
It's verified.
Sweet. Verified. Write it down. I don't have to cut that out. So that's good. Good stuff. Last little order of NFL news was the Matthew Stafford elbow injury. He's got thrower's elbow, which is normally reserved for baseball players. McVay stopped short of calling Stafford's injury tendinitis, but he did tell reporters last week that it's a tricky deal and abnormal for a quarterback. This week it sounds like it's going much better, but if it's a season-long lingering injury, if you miss a significant amount of time, I'm just looking at that draft pick. I'm like, can the S hit the fan for the Rams this year? Like, maybe Stafford just sit out a year, get that elbow right, let Wolford kind of get in there and do his thing. and like, I'm playing that game now.
Hold on.
When Stafford's under quarterback, I'm still going to be like, all right, go do it, buddy. But when Stafford's not under quarterback, under center, just lose, baby. And I wouldn't hate to see Wolford go out there and struggle, then win 2 games, we get the first overall pick for the Rams, we make the playoffs, have a great old time. That's just my opinion.
Being a Lions fan, wouldn't you go, all right, Stafford, if you really loved Detroit,
right?
You'd say, sorry, can't do it this year.
Yeah, sorry, my elbow hurts. And then off season next year, I really want to go back to Detroit. So trade me back there. That'd be nice. There you Stafford come in, we get our quarterback, we got our team built, we got our dude running the show, and
he's a dude.
Campbell just biting kneecaps, not elbows, kneecaps. I don't know.
Kneecaps, elbows, toes.
It sounds like they're trying to make it a non-story, but it feels like a story, and it's something I'm going to be keeping a pretty close eye on because it does mean a lot for the Lions to get a good draft pick. Like, if that can become – so what was it? The last draft pick in the first round. Look what they did with it with their first and second round pick. I already talked about it. But if that's a top 15 pick, right next to our top 15 pick –
that's a big deal.
Like that. Oh, yeah. That's when you can really make some noise.
Yeah.
And that would be really exciting. And, Lions could have the first overall pick. So, like, it could be a first and 15. Like, that's when it's going to get really intriguing. And that's when it feels like, we've lost the trade because they went and won the Super Bowl, but we won the trade because it panned out. And we still got true value with that first round pick.
And you still got Will Anderson.
Yeah. That'd be... And then we don't have to trade for Raekwon Smith, right?
Oh my goodness, the table is growing.
Yeah, that's why I'm standing up. But I do want to get a little bit into the Detroit Lions camp. Attendance quotes, some Campbell stuff, and some rah-rah guys that we're figuring out are probably going to be the story tonight here, 10 o'clock. Hard Knocks to start, and I hope all of our viewers just checked off. So,
2 minutes ago.
Yeah. But, I mean, all right, so... There was quite a bit of buzz at Ford Field on Saturday as the Lions welcomed fans inside the stadium for a closer look at the 2020 squad. Look, it's nowhere near, I'm sure, what goes on in Green Bay. I'm not going to pretend that it is. But when 18,000 fans show up in Ford Field, when you just won 3 games, and this is what the fans are like, there is some kind of extra energy in Detroit, and it is really, really exciting.
Is this the first time they've done a family thing?
No, they do this. They do this every year.
Oh, they do it every year.
Yeah, okay, but right. I mean, this is the most that they've had since I want to say it was 2016. So I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah,
so
sure.
and that was when they were coming off a playoff appearance. So,
right.
The buzz is there when it might not. Should be yet, so I think that's just the really exciting thing. And I think it kind of surrounds around Campbell, who had some quotes to the crowd. He said, "Hello, Motor City. This is unbelievable. Look at you guys. I think what makes Detroit special is the fact that you guys will roll your sleeves up and put in a hard day's work. We want to model ourselves after that. I'll tell you what, you would give your coat in a winter to somebody that needed it. Man, he has such hard quotes to read, and I'm not a good reader, so that makes it hard. That's what this community's about. However, nobody will take advantage of our hospitality. Nobody. That's what we're all about. This team is working their rear off to give you something to be proud of. They're grinding it out right now, and I know this. We are freaking starving. We're starving, so the hyenas better get out of the way. Now, is the hyenas like a thing with like lions? Or is that like the laughing hyenas? And he's talking about people that laugh at the lions, like, get out of our way. We're about to show it. Like, I don't know. Let's spend the next 20 minutes unpacking that quote.
I think it's just breaking down the animal kingdom, Sam.
Right?
I really don't think he's that. Like, as odd as that may have sounded to be there and listen to that, I really don't think Dan Campbell's that kind of guy. He's just like pulling things out of his hat to say, you know, just kind of like the rah-rah guy like he is, right? And yeah.
I definitely don't think he's into Disney. Oh, sorry, Jarrett.
Yeah. Some other stuff that happened this past weekend. Goff to Shark is really becoming very interesting, and we have some quotes from Ben Johnson, the new offense coordinator, about Shark. He said, "I think it's exactly what we saw on tape. He's a long guy. He can run really, really well. He says something, he says something every day. You know, they didn't ask me to do this in Jacksonville." Now, look, we don't want to get into like the comparison to Jacksonville, because if we're comparing ourselves to Jacksonville, what are we? Jacksonville and Detroit, comparing ourselves against each other. We're like the bottom of the barrel. like it's not that great to, you know what I'm saying?
Dan Campbell, Urban Meyer.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, it's all right, great.
One wants to bite kneecaps, the other one wants to kick you.
We're paying a wide receiver $10 million to come over here and say, "You're better than Jacksonville. Thank you for being better." No, it doesn't get me all fancy, but it's good to see. But he said that's what we want him to feel, because once again, we'll kind of make that determination what he's best at, and then make sure he's doing that for us on game day. But the size and speed, they show up every single day for us. Chark had 2 touchdowns out of the 4 from Goff in that little scrimmage that they had, throwing into tight windows, gaining confidence downfield, and allowing his guys to make plays. Seems to be the new like Goff this year, and that's exciting to a quarterback that's going to willing to take him a little more chances. And you're going to see some risk reward type situations, and might get burned, but I want to take those risks, because I think that's what we need to start becoming something. You know what I mean? If we're going to be the highest paid offense, show that we're the highest paid offense.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying be the best offense. I'm saying be something more than just run on third
your
and
worth.
9. Yeah, exactly. So just really, really fun stuff to hear. And I'm really excited to watch this Hard Knocks and see get a little more information about what we're actually watching. But Jamal Williams had another quote, and I do have it written down here, the transcript, but I think we got the video here. So, John, are you able to play that audio for people?
Let's give it a whirl.
All right.
Well, let y'all know, man, today is the minimum of effort. Do not give up. Do not feel like you're tired. When you tired, think of last year and think of that record. Every time I get tired or I think I can't go no more, I think of that record. Last year wasn't it. That ain't us. We can make it. Have some heart. I get emotional about this. I'm about to cry because I care about y'all. Do your best. Let's go. Lions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right. When you guys hear stuff like that, now, great to hear. Get chills. Yeah, little emotional. That's fine. It's getting kind of eye rolly, isn't it? 2 times in a row. Like, from our perspective, yeah, we can be like, no, he's good. He's pumping up his guys and stuff like that. I feel like when you're in that huddle, you're eye rolling just a little bit. And I'm curious of what's going on there. And I don't know. What were you going to say? Go ahead.
No, I think it really depends on what he's feeling from his team, like at that day of practice. I mean, man, if he feels like people are giving some pretty poor effort, yeah, expect something like that in a huddle afterwards. This is the man's the leader.
Yeah.
And he not in a not in a kind of a jerk way here, but I mean the man comes from winning, and he has seen leadership in the past.
Has he ever won a playoff game?
Jamal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Dang, man.
That was the last time the Packers won a playoff
Jeez,
game? Was it with Jamal?
Well, he's on your team. Be easy, man. Goodness
Here we go.
gracious.
Sorry, you said winning. I just wanted to...
I'm trying to be nice.
No,
Ay, caramba.
Sorry.
Anyways. No, I mean, like, that man knows what it takes to win. He's got that heart. He's got a heart of a lion.
Hey-ho.
So just let the man talk. I mean, sure, it might be eye-rolly to you, but, man, like, you take what you can get right now and take that type of fierce leadership all day long.
Somebody's got to say it. Somebody's got to be the voice at these, spring practices, we'll call them. What is this, preseason?
Summer camp.
Summer camp. I'd rather a little guy like Jamal Williams get emotional and almost cry and his voice squeak a little bit than like Jared Goff. If your quarterback's squeaking his voice and
getting emotional,
cracking, then you got to be kind of worried. There's got to be a red flag flying somewhere. But I just hope he's on the roster, right? The running back depth chart is pretty deep now in Detroit, bringing Justin Jackson aboard amongst others, DeAndre Swift. So I just hope that we got a spot for him on the team and that he can get some playing time. And he is the kind of player that plays his heart out when he has the opportunity. So if he can translate that into the season and we can see some progress, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I think saying somebody's got to say it is a perfect way to do it. And obviously Dan Campbell trusts him, and he's been there, done that around the league, and I do love that part of it. But then I go back to like when I was playing college hockey, and people are talking about the year prior, and it's like, well, we did this and we did that. This is the good, this is the bad. We won the national championship, and I'm just like, in my opinion, and when he's bringing up last year's record and this and that, I'm just like, I don't know the exact number, but I'm assuming 30% of the roster is turnover. You got rookies out there that have never played a snap, and then just like sitting there like, I don't give a flying F about your guys' record last year. Like, this is a new team. Like, let's move on from last year. That bothered me a little bit. Like, look, again, it's a pump-up speech. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But I just, like, I wonder if there's more to it than it's like, it feels more eye-rolly. It feels like conspiracy, like, tinfoil hat. Maybe he is more on the bubble. And if the Lions can eventually cut him and be like, look, your leader was just cut. Like, your rah-rah guy, your guy that was been in your face was just cut. Your job's not safe. If his job wasn't safe, your job's not. You know what I mean? Like, kind of go over that type of I don't know. That's just where I'm kind of like, that's kind of my head's going this way. My head's going, do I think that we're going to cut Jamal Williams? No, I don't. Heading into camp, he was an interesting name that I was like, maybe eventually save some money type thing, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. I don't expect it to happen, but I don't know. It's just something that
I think you should cut him.
Yeah, and you guys would pick him up?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think you guys would. I don't think he would go back to Green Bay. He'd be
on,
third string there. But, I don't know. Something to keep an eye on, I guess, especially during Hard Knocks, which it's going on right now, which is why our viewers went down. No, I'm just kidding.
Your
O-line.
soul is crushed right now.
Yeah.
You want to be home.
All right, O-line. And then, look, I'm going to save Road to the Playoffs for a different week again. I'm going to cut that once again, but I'm going to save it, right, for next week? Yeah? You guys all right with that?
We got time.
To do it this week or next week?
Yeah, you can
Next
do
week.
it this week, but...
Well, I got to do O-line first, and I think this could take a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Your O-line?
Yeah, because I'm putting you guys on the spot a little bit here. You don't even know what's going on with us. We'll see. We'll see if we have time. John, you make the decision, okay?
All right.
You tell me.
Flip a coin.
But I did want to talk about the O-line. And, look, I don't think there's any secret about, like, Ryan and I think we love this O-line. We think it could be top 5. There's been multiple. I think you agree they could be a really high-end offensive line. John, like, it seems like that's probably our best unit, right? on this offense or this team in general. Like, our offensive line is our best unit. So then I'm like, okay, where would you guys rank them? And look, I'm not expecting you to know every single team's offensive line or something like that.
I think I know where you're going.
Where would you lean in with this team? Like, where would you nail them down and be like, yeah, they're a top 5 offensive line. Yeah, they're top 10. They're top 20. Like, where is your comfortable be like, yeah, that's where they deserve to be? Because you got guys like, all right, I think I have the starting one here. I always want to make sure I get the names right. You got Decker, Jackson, Ragnow, Vaitai, and Sewell. Vaitai, unbelievable year last year. Ragnow made the Pro Bowl after people opted out. Ragnow, when healthy, was one of the best centers. Taylor Decker, hate him or love him, he's consistent when he's playing and has been a top 10 left tackle in this league. So, like, when you build that to what we've seen, they've never all taken a snap together. Take that for a grain of salt. But, like, where would you land them in, like, just out of quick, where do they rank in your opinion?
A top 5.
You would say top 5.
Yeah.
I would agree with you on that. John, where would you say?
I'd comfortably say top 7.
Okay.
I can't tell you who the other 6 offensive lines
like,
are,
yeah.
and like throw out names.
But it's reasonable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I did find some offensive line rankings. You guys all right with me going through these?
ESPN?
Yeah. You already know?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just do your thing.
Anyways.
I won't say anything.
Number 1 offensive line, Kansas City Chiefs. Predicted to be the number 1 pass blocking offensive line, and number 5 run block. Green Bay Packers, number 2. Philadelphia Eagles, number 3. Denver Broncos, number 4. Baltimore Ravens, number 5. Arizona Cardinals, number 6. Washington, number 7. Cleveland Browns, number 8. Number 9, Indianapolis Colts. Number 10, New England Patriots. Number 11, the Chicago Bears. And this is when I'm like starting to get angry.
That one is a head scratcher. I can see, well, even Washington too, but like that's a head scratcher right there. I guess Taylor Heineke had a good year, so he must have had some protection, right? Wow, Chicago.
But like I'm starting to like think, all right, what?
What are we not seeing?
What
is
are they
going on
basing
here?
it on?
So tell me when you guys start getting angry about this, all right? I'm going to keep on going.
Cincinnati's got to fall in there, right? Didn't they just, like, revamp their offensive line?
All right, so you got the Rams at 12. Houston Texans at 13.
That's incredible.
At 14, you have the Carolina Panthers. 15, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 16, still in the Lions for the record here, San Francisco 49ers.
Wow.
At number 17,
Dallas Cowboys.
Buffalo Bills. Number 18.
17?
Yeah. Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
Number 19, the Dallas Cowboys. Are you angry yet that the Lions haven't been named yet?
It's like, ridiculous. It's funny.
It's
like
a little messed up, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like poor research, in my opinion, because you have, on paper, one of the best offensive lines.
Right.
All right, so here we go. At 20, the New York Giants. At 21, the New Orleans Saints. At 22, the Los Angeles Chargers. Did I say 22? The Vikings. 23, Chargers. Sorry. I don't know if I said Vikings.
Nope. You missed Vikings.
24.
Wow. I would have put Chargers in my top 7.
Right.
You know, oh, wow. This is ESPN.
Rashawn
Come on.
Slater,
24.
Right?
Just credit.
The New York Jets. Still no Lions. This is unreal.
Does the offensive line rankings also include the quarterback because he's under center?
I don't think
because this is, I don't know. This is just mind blowing right now.
All right. At 25, you got the Miami Dolphins. This is just unreal that the Lions were not in there. At 26, you got the Detroit Lions. And this is what they say. The projected starters, Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, Vaitai, and Penei Sewell. They're predicted to pass block at a number 26th overall, and predicted run block rank is 24th overall.
What?
Wait, did you watch the Lions last year? Like they were getting pretty good pops with guys that were watching Netflix like us. Like running the ball. Like this makes absolutely no sense. This is what he says. I'll read it and then we'll just move on. But he said after a rough start to his rookie season, which rough start.
Get over it.
Yeah, he was at left tackle and he actually played pretty well. He had one bad game. I don't know what this rough start means. But he says Sewell's numbers improved when he moved over to the right tackle. His pass block win rate jumped from 82% to 87%. Wow, 80. Okay. And his run block win rate ticked up from 71 to 73. Neither right tackle number is elite. They're both right around average, but perhaps it suggests what ought to be slightly brighter forecast for his 2022 season than his numbers in aggregated might indicate. So it just blew my mind because how many times have we said that this is one of the best units on the Lions roster? It is the offensive line. And then you get somebody that says 26th ranked offensive line. Like, are we missing something? Or is this guy going to look like he's going to get his pants pulled down and fired by ESPN, right?
It's by far your best unit. This guy is watching soccer or golf or nothing. He has no idea what he's talking about.
Was it Marty Smith? Because I think he started in NASCAR and now they got him in college basketball.
Yeah,
so I don't know. But
Marty Smith is like, oh, he looks good in backwards hat. Let's put him on TV. Right? He's got a cute accent.
Man, I don't know. They must
needs more.
They must have like not taken. That sounds like the guy that probably wrote this article. They must have taken some statistics from like the wide receiving core and the unhealthiness of DeAndre Swift at times, and
it would
combined all of that. I don't know. T.J. Hawkinson's probably not the best blocking tight end. He's not on the offensive line, but like he didn't have a great year. I don't know. That's for pass blocking purposes. Like, is that purely defense getting to the quarterback, or is that the quarterback not being able to make a throw because we don't have a wide receiving core to throw at? I don't know. That's completely mind-boggling.
Yeah, it actually blew my mind that was what.
I'm glad I said
where they ended up.
Yeah, I'm glad I said top 7 and not top 5 like you guys.
It makes you feel a little better, right? You're only 20
26th?
Off. Or 19 off.
What? Wow.
Crazy. All right, so I am going to save the road to the playoffs for next week.
Excellent.
I made that decision because we do have some college football that we got to get into. So let's do that right now.
From the Red Wings to Michigan State, we're talking about it. This is State of My Sports.
All right. So the top 25 coaches poll came out, and you know how much merit that brings to the college football. Like it's the gospel. No, but what it is it's a really fun topic if you ask me. So that's what we're doing. We're digging in to the top 25. So I'm going to read the top 25 and tell you guys their whole schedules, each of them, and then we'll see where we land at. Is that how this is going to go or no?
Yeah.
All right, no. All right. So I'll tell you a little bit of the stuff going on, and then we'll get into some snubs, who's more likely to, be this and be that, and overrated, underrated, and we'll talk a little bit about Michigan State as well, which is fun. But the coaches poll came out, and you got Alabama at number 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, Clemson jumps all the way to 4. To round up the top 5, you got Notre Dame, and then to round out the top 10, you got Michigan, A&M, Utah, Oklahoma, and Baylor. Moving on here, you got Oklahoma State, Oregon, NC State, Michigan State falls in at 14. USC, 15, Pitt, 16. You got Miami at 17, Texas, Wake Forest. Interesting to see them up there at 19. Wisconsin all the way down at 20. Kentucky, 21. SEC bias. Are they SEC?
Yes.
Yeah. No?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry. Cincinnati at 22, Arkansas 23, Ole Miss at 24, and Houston at number 25. So what we like to do is unpack this top 25, right? Is that fun? You guys like doing that?
Let's do it.
I hate unpacking. It means vacation's over, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, unpacking when you get on the first day of vacation.
You unpack. All right. So do you unpack and put it in like the drawers that are at the hotels? And
I
stuff?
don't.
Oh, you guys utilize the dressers?
Oh yeah.
You do? I do too.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that than live out of a suitcase personally.
No, honestly, if my wife wasn't there, I'd be living out of a suitcase.
Yeah. Usually when I live out of a suitcase, I just put the same shirt on multiple times, and then it's like,
Same.
well, I just packed all this stuff
Same.
that's not going to get used. So
There's always an overabundance of hangers in a hotel
Yeah.
room too, so
That's
I'm
true.
always hanging stuff up. Yeah.
No, that's true.
Made me feel better.
But getting in the top 25, I'm curious if you guys thought there were any interesting snubs that fell into the top 25. So I'll bring up some others receiving votes, where Michigan fell in last year, heading into the first poll. But you got Iowa, Penn State, both out of the top 10, the top 25, but they did receive votes. You got Tennessee, San Diego State, Fresno State, BYU, LSU, Auburn, Central Michigan, and North Carolina. So what I wanted to ask you guys is there anybody that stands out to you that could make some noise in the top 10-ish, that's outside of the top 25? You know what I mean? Like similar to what Michigan did, but maybe not. I'm not saying make the college football playoff or something like that. So like, somebody stand out to you guys at all in there?
I think Iowa's the easy one to say for me. You look at their body of work last year. They're another. It's Wisconsin and Iowa on that side of the conference for the Big Ten. I think that Iowa being straight out of the top 25 is ridiculous.
It seems a little unfair. Now, I don't know off the top of my head what they gained, what they lost, anything like that.
I have no idea either.
But it seems a little unfair just because they were in the Big Ten championship last year.
Right.
They were winning that game away from making the playoff, I believe.
Right, exactly.
Right?
They're royally competitive year in, year out. They're like that sneaky team. They're very well coached. I think we went through coach stuff, a few weeks ago, whatever it was. But Kirk Ferentz, he's a legendary coach. He's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
He's very well established in Iowa. Guys love to play for the guy. They have a good team.
No,
good school.
I don't hate that pick at all. John, do you have one that stands out or no?
I'm going off of history here, but I'm going to go with LSU. I don't really know what all they did, like in a transfer portal or
recruiting
and all that type of stuff. Like what was left. I know that they've had quite the turnover in head coach regimes over the last several years. You mix in a couple of NCAA championships, and those guys didn't get a chance to stick around. So I guess I'm kind of pulling for Brian Kelly, Grand Valley State University guy, and I'm going to throw LSU in there. Another school that didn't make any of these lists that kind of surprises me too is Florida, because they're kind of in the same thing with Iowa being in the opposite side of the SEC from your Alabamas and I believe like Auburn too. So
are we allowed to talk about Florida? Or
I don't.
Called out
I know.
No.
Yeah. Well,
we're not allowed.
No.
I hope not. But I would lean towards LSU. Iowa's obviously a good pick too, because they usually end up with a good overall like season schedule record too.
Yeah, no, I think Iowa was a good pick. One that stood out to me was San Diego State. Look, I don't expect them to make the playoff by any means.
Yeah.
But like here they are. They made some noise in the top 25 last year. Now I don't know what they lost. I don't know what they gained. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on this, but they don't have the toughest schedule. So but it's tough enough to be like, hey, look what we just did. So their toughest games are at Utah, at Boise State, at Nevada, and at Fresno State. The Utah, seeming to be the toughest, and it's a marquee. Like you beat Utah. Utah is probably the most intriguing. I don't think they're Power 5, are they?
Who?
Utah. But like they're one of those.
Yeah, they'd be Power 5.
Are they Power 5?
12.
They're in the Pac. All right, but they're like that cute little person that never makes it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like
another well-coached team, though.
Yeah, exactly. But like, if you can go out and win those games, and that's all you have, like, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if they go undefeated, they will be in the top 10 because those are pretty good enough wins, and you're respected enough. And I think Brady Hoke's their coach, right? Not that matters.
Yes.
Like that has nothing to do with this pick. It's just I just looked at the schedules and I'm like, That one's really intriguing. I think Penn State's also intriguing. I don't like them. I don't think they're good. But when you have as much returning as they do, it seems like they should have one of the up years rather than the down year that they had last year. It's interesting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But
there's
I don't know.
2 others. Boise State. I feel like they're always in a top 25 conversation, right, for a long time with the weird turf and
but they
stuff.
don't really get into the top 10, you know.
And then Washington. Did they really fall
interesting.
off that far? Like, I don't know.
You know,
They've been a
really interesting
preseason
one. So-
ranked team like the last several years.
I'm curious of what week do they play Michigan State?
I don't know.
We should
hang on.
I
Have it
want to
for
say
you
it
in a
was
minute.
week 2 just because that's what Michigan was supposed
week,
to play them.
Week 2 or week 3.
But, like, if they can go in to or beat Michigan State, who will be, you know, a top 15, top 10 team, depending on how everything goes, like, that could make them jump fairly quickly.
Week
and
3.
jump from, you know, outside of the receiving votes and jump right back into the top 25 and then really make some noise. I'm curious what the rest of their schedule looks like. I mean, what would you say? Like, could they go on a nice little run and become a contender if
Washington,
it all
you're
falls?
saying?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty favorable,
Yeah.
to be quite honest
I mean,
with
it's
you.
not the toughest, but like you have so many teams that kind of all fit that same mold, right?
Some marquee games. So you got Michigan State night game at home, and then you got Stanford, UCLA, Arizona State. Arizona State is it's kinda
UCLA is not
maybe a
really
trap
anything
game.
anymore.
Arizona, nah.
Yeah.
California, no. Oregon State, no. Oregon,
Okay.
November 12th.
It's a big game, but like
Okay, so then you wrap up the season with Colorado and Washington State.
yeah. So if you upset, let's say upset, they might even be favored when it comes to week whatever it was, 3 or 4. Man, they could go into that pretty close to being undefeated.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good mention there. Like that schedule's not that hard,
No,
but it's
it's
respected
not.
enough that they'll jump fairly quickly if they, you know, go on a nice little run. I like that one. And they're
upset a couple teams.
the name's big enough that they're going to get the benefit of the doubt as well. That's a really good poll there, John. Next one that I wanted to ask was who is going to be who's most likely to be the next Clemson, and what I mean by that is playoff contender, and then see ya. Like, where'd you go? What happened?
Ooh.
I don't know why I'm even
Maybe
holding this pen. It's not even
Clemson.
working. Right? Clemson kind of fits that. Clemson's the next Clemson.
I don't know. Like
I'm very curious about that.
I kind of facetiously say that with Venables gone. Like, you know, I would love to give Dabo a lot of credit. I think Dabo's a good guy. I think he's a good coach. But how much did Brent Venables play a part in the success of Clemson in their, you know, quote unquote dynasty run?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna find out here because if Clemson can't finish in the top 8, top 6, you know, is Clemson done?
You're interested, like, right? And then you got. When is Saban's days done? Is Dabo going to jump over to be the next Alabama coach? It's all interesting.
Right,
It really is.
right.
I mean, I think Clemson could really fall into that. I had one, or actually I have a couple. I thought Clemson kind of fits that mold. I'm very curious of Georgia. I don't really trust their quarterback to be dominant, and they lost so much. Now, they're at a point that they should be reloading. They're trying to be the next Alabama that doesn't matter what you lose because you have the guys to replace them. I want to see it before I can believe it.
Right.
But I have another one, and it might hurt. Michigan.
Yeah.
They lost a lot on
Yep.
defense. They lost a ton on defense. And you had a lot of close games that the defense was the difference last year. Now, do I think the offense is going to take a step up? Yes, I do. Do I think they can be elite? Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's not going well, which we've seen, and we've seen our coaching staff get very stubborn with their play calling. It's like, nope, this is the way we got to do it. This is what we're going to do. Like, and if they're not willing to adjust that mindset, I could see them losing a couple of those toss-up games that they ended up winning last year. You know, Penn State. I know Michigan State's the opposite, but like there was other games that were really close that and I can't think of right now. But like, you know what I mean?
Well, the Penn
Where
State
it's like-
game was close, like you said.
Yeah, Penn State was close. I feel like there was the Nebraska game was close.
Nebraska was close.
There was several games that were really close and
Right.
panned out for
Right.
Michigan. for what they did last year, and it was great. But, like, you lose a couple of those games, like, you fall quickly, and then you lose to Ohio State, you lose to Michigan State. Like, it can pile on. You lose to Penn State. Like, it can pile on very quickly for a team that doesn't have a take over the game defense like we saw last year. And now, as a Michigan fan, I sit and say that because I have the unknown of what the offense is going to do. I've watched, 7 years of Harbaugh. There's been really good. There's been really bad. And there's been quietly good. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
right.
I don't know what I'm going to see. I don't know if the switch has been flipped or if it's going to be more of the same and just hope that we can ride the defense. So that's why I put Michigan on here, because it's like, man, there was a lot of toss-ups that those go the other way. This team's, top 20, outside the top 25, and be that Clemson of this year. But John, did you have any, or do you want me to keep on rolling?
Well, I see that Cincinnati fell real quick. They lost some stuff, and they were in the college football playoffs. I didn't want to pick them per se.
Yeah, so they're in 22nd overall.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what happens in Notre Dame. I mean, you're handing the keys over to a new guy. Oklahoma, man, they were hot and they were on fire. Now they're, in the future going to be joining the SEC, and I think they're kind of losing the recruiting battle down in that heart of the Big 12. Oklahoma State is getting better. Baylor's, look out. Baylor could sneak up into that top-tier teams for, the foreseeable future. I can't help but laugh that Texas got a first-place vote.
Thank you for bringing that up. I wanted to talk about it so bad.
I'm sure it was Texas that voted for them, right?
Sarkeesian.
Or was it one of the Mannings, maybe? Did they get a vote?
Yeah, maybe, Archie
Jr.
Is this like a
Arch? What's his name? Arch.
Number 2 overall prospect now in college football.
Yeah.
No, but, I mean, that kind of fell into my overrated. And I guess this is kind of an overrated conversation, too.
Sure, let's do it.
I had Oklahoma as my overrated. It just feels like losing Lincoln Riley will mean more. It should mean more, and it should really hurt them. They lost some transfers, I'm sure, too, that moved to USC, and I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on, but I don't expect them to be the Oklahoma that we're used to. And I could see them going from number 9 to dropping easily out of the top 25. They play Nebraska. I mean, joke on Nebraska, but I mean, they were in a lot of games. Texas, Baylor, OK State. Then you got Iowa State and TCU. They're never gimmies. It's like that team could have 5 losses by the end of the year and be nowhere near to a decent bowl or a playoff or anything like that. And when you start at number 9 where they are, like you would expect a lot more. I think that's one that could really fall into that. Underrated. Anybody stand out to you that could be considered underrated? I'll start if you guys are cool with that, and then you guys can go. I have Wisconsin, and I worded it in a way like I don't know if underrated is the right word, because I could see them like skyrocketing, but then them not being as good as they're ranked. You know what I mean? Like the little number next to them could look really nice, but we won't know how good they really are because of the side of the conference they play in. Look, so they're at OSU early, week 4, but other than that, I mean, I don't see why Wisconsin couldn't rack wins together. I mean, and make it into a Big Ten championship and finish top 5, top 10. Seeing how it goes, but like they're at Northwestern and Michigan State back-to-back. That could be tough, but I don't know if it is or not. And then you got at Iowa 3 weeks later. I just don't see, or I don't want to say it's easy, but it's really not that hard either. So like, look at them sitting at what was it, 20? I feel like they're the team that can skyrocket and jump some more of those frauds in that 7 to 15 mark, and like once things kind of lay out, because you're going to see a lot of this top 25 kind of shake up. And again, we're talking coaches poll, take that with a grain of salt. But I mean, underrated for you guys. Anybody stand out? You already brought up Wisconsin at one point, didn't you? Or no, you brought up Iowa.
Iowa.
Yeah,
sure.
But Wisconsin can kind of fit that same argument,
100%.
Right? It's like it's either Iowa or Wisconsin.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we start with overrated? You started with overrated for you, right?
Yeah. You can go with overrated.
So let me jump to overrated. I'm going to go with Notre Dame, takes the cake all day long.
Very,
for me. Sorry.
very. Yep. No,
like
that's a good
Marcus Freeman. Like, no offense to Notre Dame right now. Like, you have a brand new coach, most likely a brand new system, a lot of new staff, and at this point, I mean, sorry, but like your ranking kind of reminds me of like the way you're recruiting right now. The dude is a bad mamma jamma on the recruiting trail. That doesn't just shoot you into the top 5. No one's seen one lick of your defense, not one lick of your offense. Are you kidding me? Why is Notre Dame sitting right there?
Right.
At 5?
They got
Sorry.
Ohio State week 1. They're at North Carolina week 4. BYU, Stanford, Clemson, and USC. I mean, they escaped a lot of close games last year too. And it's like that's a really good one. They could fall. They could 4 or 5 losses.
I'm sorry.
By the time
Overrated
all
as all get out for me.
Yeah.
And then underrated. Yeah. I mean, you look at Wisconsin year after year. There they sit, kind of neck and neck with Iowa. And how many times have they been to the Big Ten championship in the last 5 years?
7.
I mean, a lot.
It seems like they're always there.
Just another well-coached team. They don't have a whole lot of competition on that side of the conference. But, for me, I look at USC. Like, I don't want to jump on the Lincoln Riley train, but he took a lot of his talent that he had recruited, a lot of the talent through the transfer portal. Like Joe Schmo from Oklahoma. He's transferring. Oh, where's he going to go? Well, he's going to go to USC.
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley took his team, his talents to not South Beach, but he took it to USC.
Yeah.
And I could see that, he doesn't have a really strong conference to just kind of dink around with. He's got Chip Kelly on the other side of the city, basically.
I think they could make some noise.
Absolutely.
I really do.
I don't know what their schedule looks like, but USC is a big underrated for me.
John, do you have one?
I was eyeing a couple teams in that same, I guess, region of the top 25 bracket for both overrated and underrated, but Pittsburgh overrated, right? They lost Kenny Pickett. Didn't they lose like a really good wide receiver to USC?
Yeah, and they lost to Michigan State. So
I don't
Jordan
know.
Addison.
Yeah, I like Pat Narduzzi. He's a good guy, right? He's a good coach, but I don't know. Pittsburgh, I don't even know who's in their conference that they got to compete with. So maybe they will finish in the top 25 just by good sake. But I would say underrated, I'm torn between Southern Cal and Miami. Look out. Mario Cristobal is a heck of a coach. I know that they don't quite have the talent there, but he put together quite the staff. And it's still the University of Miami.
Real quick, I'm going to go through USC schedule.
Okay.
Right? It's actually fairly simple outside of the big games that I think are somewhat of a coin flip. You got Rice, Stanford. Stanford's not what they used to be, so I don't want to give that. Fresno State's an interesting one. Oregon State, every now and then can have the Arizona State, Washington State. I'm not getting anything too tough here. Utah could be a tough one. Could be. We'll see how they end up.
Where's that game at?
At Utah, which is tough.
All right. Yeah,
right?
that's a tough place to play.
That's tough. At Arizona, nothing to shake a stick. I mean, nothing tough. Versus Cal, versus Colorado, UCLA, and then you finish the season with Notre Dame. So, you got a few in there that are tough, but at the same time, if Lincoln Riley is anywhere near what we think he is, which I think he deserves a lot of credit for what he did at Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. I think he's a good coach. I think he's one of the better coaches, in-game coaches that there are. I really do.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good one, and I think they could kind of get on a roll if the talent actually came with them, which it's USC. I don't know why the hell the talent wouldn't come with him. You know what I mean? He should have the talent all ready to go.
Yep.
What was your other one, John? I wanted to pull up their schedule quick, unless you just did.
Yeah, I got it pulled up, but Miami, the Hurricanes.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
I guess
So they're currently sitting at 17th.
Yeah, I think, are these just the home games? No.
We got this. We got it.
All right.
You got it?
Bethune-Cookman Wildcats.
Yep. The good old Betham.
Yeah, at Miami.
They're tough. You can't walk into Betham.
Yeah, I don't know
or
who you
have Betham walk into you and consider it a win.
USM Golden Eagles.
Ooh, the Eagles. I forgot about the Golden Eagles.
Is that
yep.
Southern
That's
Mississippi or
something like that?
Southern Michigan? Miami, they play at Texas A&M. Obviously, that's going to be a tough game.
Middle Tennessee State.
Middle Tennessee State, North Carolina at home.
They're an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, man, it's just tough playing down in Miami. Duke, Florida State.
Vatek was in there. Virginia.
Okay, this isn't
Georgia. I mean, it's
all the games then.
Yeah,
but then they end the year, with Clemson and then Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, if you
conference games, but
really the one that I look at that is the Clemson game. That's the one that's like, yeah, you should lose that game. But do we really trust Clemson?
Yeah, I think
Miami's an actual really good one.
Yeah,
that's a good pull.
I think by that matchup we'll know a little bit about Clemson and have a better idea of where they stand, and hopefully Miami's still hanging in there.
If you're not excited for college football season, just listen to this podcast and we'll get you hyped.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. State of My Sports.
Like I said, we're not doing a betting here segment today just because I knew that this would be, look, we're at 2 hours. It was love what we talked about. I feel like for how much we had packed in, like, dang, good, cheers to us. And I knew for a fact, so we had to cut one part of it, and that's fine. Like 2 weeks in a row that we cut my road to the playoffs. We got all crazy month to do that, so we'll get into that. We did want to do our beer grades, and obviously we're here at DeHop's, second Tuesday of the month. Are we back to Tuesdays officially? I think we should be, right? You guys good with that?
I feel like Tuesdays are better.
Yeah.
More prep time.
Yeah, I agree. More prep time, and here we go. We're going to be ready to go with football soon. I like having that extra day, Monday Night Football. While I prep, I like using.
There's always a little more news coming in.
Exactly, that's true. The lines come out too on Tuesday, so I think we're going to be Tuesdays here moving forward. We might throw a Monday in here and there
at DeHop's,
but we
got a listener rocking a DeHop's hat tonight, y'all.
Who's that?
Jarrett Fenema.
Attaboy, Jarrett
makes an appearance. We're not
talking.
We're not talking Chris Sale's season-ending injury. We're not talking Florida Gators football no more. So, Jarrett, I don't know what we got for you. Yeah,
we already talked Florida Gators, so you're going to have to jump back and listen to that. I hope we did it justice for you. Speaking of doing it justice, the Walker Ave English Special Bitter is a 5.5% alcohol by volume, 42 IBUs. It's, like I said, ESB, English Special Bitter, just the right amount of bitterness backed by a biscuity malt profile. Traditional English ale, easy to drinking, and perfect for when you desire something with a little more backbone. What do you guys think of this beer? I was solid.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
You know, I think that if you're a big IPA drinker, you're probably going to like this. It has the
flavors
not necessarily
are there.
An IPA.
Yeah.
You know, it has some bitter to it, and I'm sure the beer gods and, you know, like everyone's like, dude, it's not bitter.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to explain it, but like it's kind of got like that little bit of bite, a lot of flavor. I like the beer itself. So.
Yeah. John, what do you think?
Solid beer. Micah pointed it out. I don't know if it's the pitcher or the glass, but the beer was looking awfully amber in the pitcher.
Okay.
And maybe a little more just like hoppy, beer in the glass. I don't know.
It should be the texture of the pitcher,
the
right?
interior.
I don't know. Did you see that though? It was like
it was so it settled weird.
Red.
Did it settle?
No, I don't think so. I think the pours were still consistent.
Interesting.
It's probably just the pitcher. I just thought it was interesting.
Obviously, I mean, when you set the pitcher down, Sam, I was kind of worried. I'm like, man.
Well, what did you even say? Like as I was going on, you said, "Get me something with."
Surprised me, either an IPA or something close to it.
So this was close to an IPA,
very close
right?
to it. Yeah, when you set it down, I was like, man, that's a little bit darker than any IPA I've had to drink, but it was pretty smooth.
So before you started, you've been here for what? A little over a year now?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
You were like an IPA fan, were you? Or
It's just
or
kind
do I
of.
just like?
I think that's the window of craft beer that I've ever like peeked into before. Not stepped or put my arm through or threw a football through by any means, but just took a little peek, and it's kind of my go-to. I'm not too fond of the dark, like malty and like thick chew 'em down beers. I like a seltzer. I've gotten on board with those this summer, which is not who I am.
It is now.
To the blood. But yeah, a little vodka. Yeah, Vodka John likes to come out every now and then. But no, it was very good, very smooth, easy to drink.
Yeah, it got me where I wanted to be. Like I feeling good. I feel like I was talkative, which always helps when you're doing a podcast. So.
I have some family that live off the corner of Walker and Valley, so it was like, and their last name happens to be Walker, so it's like, I guess,
what are the odds of that?
It's a good beer.
So I wonder where Walker Ave comes from. Obviously, we got Walker Avenue down that way, but like it's a little far. Like I'm curious where the naming came from. We'll have to ask Ben about that one.
Yeah, is it
I'll
like
have to text him tomorrow.
North of town?
Yeah,
like Walker.
Well, they have like Stand Delicious, and then they have
Farmland, or is it like Walker Northwest Side, like get down there on the other side of town?
I don't know. Yeah, interesting. All right, so what kind of grade did you guys give this type of beer? I thought it was good. I'm gonna go with like a easy to drink, nothing, not blow my socks off. Not that I'm wearing them, but I would say like 7.
8-0.
8-0.
I had a 7-9 in mind long before you guys spouted out your
that's
beer
good.
grades.
Carrie was drinking a transient, what'd she call it?
Whipped up.
It
was whipped up?
Yeah.
Did she give it a grade or no?
Haven't gotten a grade yet.
So she's waiting till tomorrow? We'll wait.
I think she's waiting for Kyle Fosse's auto text to come through on our chat line, but he probably sent that. He probably sent that yesterday, thinking we're.
He's not jumping on because he didn't text me all day, so he knows that he'd be in the doghouse if he jumped in.
All right, drinking
there
whipped
it
up
is. There it
ice
is.
cream sour ale with pineapple, tangerine, orange, lactose, sugar, and vanilla. She loved it. Capitals.
Whoa, that sounds incredible.
8.7. That sounds like something I could drink at 9 o'clock break. Don't tell my boss. And act like I'm having a little smoothie.
It's a breakfast smoothie.
Yes.
It's in a Yeti tumbler.
Yeah. Dang,
Man.
pineapple, tangerine, orange.
That sounds really good. You guys went to Transient, right?
We did.
Yeah. Was it cool?
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing like special. But then the Tapestry's right across the street?
Yeah, it is.
I didn't realize that they were that close to each other.
I had no idea.
What city are they in?
Bridgman.
That's what I was going to say, and I should have just
It's
guessed.
not even it's a little town.
Yeah.
It's a town.
We got off the exit. I'm like, where is this joint? It's just
So, I mean,
a whole lot of nothing
they
around.
they have very simple cans. They all look the same, and then they just have like a small talking about Transient, small description of what it is and the difference between them all. Obviously, the different names and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what they had on tap did that kind of change your perspective of what Transient is? Like what we've drank of Transient?
See, okay. So what they had on tap was a lot different than what they had in cans. Like when you go to Siciliano's, they have, I don't know, like 6 to 8 different Transients.
Yeah, something like that.
Right?
Yeah.
This reminded me of how many beers Oddside puts out.
Oh, really?
You know
Okay.
how Oddside, they just love to just put out new stuff, which is really, really cool. New stuff to try constantly.
Similar to
kind of how
Argonne, too?
Transient. Oh, yeah. So that's the way they roll. Like when we rolled up, I mean, we only had like 15 minutes before they closed. We got there just barely in time. So looked at their on-tap menu, and I'm like, oh, man, I could have sworn like the last time I went into a store, like there was more to pick from. And maybe I didn't read the menu right or whatnot, but I saw all the cans on the wall, which was really, really impressive.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Tapestry was really, really cool. Tapestry has great food.
Yeah. Okay.
Transient I don't think they have any food, but, there's a bar across the street, but then there's Tapestry also.
All right. No, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate you jumping on the Instagram, getting some stuff out there. But did she give it a grade? She did give it a grade. 8.7?
8.7. That's
Wow.
up there.
That
Let's
is
flirt
up
with
there.
that 9.
That is up there, but we got Hard Knocks to get to. At least I'm going to. If you guys don't want to, that's fine. Thank you guys for recording. Love doing this with you guys every single week. Tuesdays moving forward. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Share us, like us, do all that good stuff. We'll talk to you next week, if not sooner.
You've been listening to State of My Sports. From the Red Wings to the Lions, to the Tigers to the Pistons, to Michigan and Michigan State, and everything in between, we're talking about it. And don't forget the beer. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. In the meantime, hook up with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at State of My Sports with an MI. We'll see you next time.